Big R. Hello, everyone. Hi. So, I don't know what I'm doing. I was talking to Rob yesterday or the day before. After I was live, whenever. And I was like, I think low key after the last live, my mistake was saying that I want everything when in reality I want some things. So, because there's some stuff I don't want. I don't want. And then Rob was like, "Who? My name's Patrick. I say that I don't want to do this or I don't like that, but I literally have a tapestry of Saturn, and I do this and I do that, and my whole channel is dedicated to it, basically." I was like, "Let me live my life, Rob. I'm complex, okay?" I'm just playing. Um, but I went to work today because he was like, "What did he say? Like, who's making you do this or something?" Not making you do this, but he asked me something along those lines. And then I was at work this morning, and I just got an answer. I guess it was like my better nature, and I was like, "Oof! Well, I wish my better nature could be here during the live because I'm just playing." I don't know. There is something somewhere within me that obviously I guess wants to do whatever. So, excuse me. I believe in perspectives and offering perspectives. And so that's what I try to do. Just offer a different perspective. Maybe one that gets us a little further. Almost like one of those like a 3D maze type thing where it's like, but it would have to be in a video game or something like that. Where it's like if you like an MC Escher-esque sort of painting where if you shift the perspective, like it opens up a pathway, or there's like, let's say you have this pillar here, but when you move it, like there's a different pathway when you view it from the side that the pillar isn't obstructing, so you have to move it for you to continue, and then you can like shift it back after you move past the point of obstruction, like that, if that makes any sense. And I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm excited. I got a deck coming on the Wednesday. I think it's arriving Wednesday. If it wants to come early, I won't complain, and if it wants to come late, then I don't have any choices as to when it gets here. But actually, I'm gonna check real quick. I'm excited to use it. I'm already like trying to think of how I want to use it. Today's the 22nd, right? Excuse me. Hey Shayna, how are you? I'm trying to see what I want to do today. I'm trying to see what I want to do. I had an apple today. It was pretty good. It's been a while since I've had an apple. I know IG is, I guess. GG going good, going great, I guess. Or gugging, or gugug. Is that a word? Good. Oh, okay. Glad to hear it. What do you think I should do today? Today is Shayna's choice. What am I doing, Shayna? I'm like, I don't know why I'm here today. I'm going to attempt to be in my better nature today. So, oof. I was like, it's my better nature. I'm a Pisces, two fish, red flesh. Oops. Oh, who was that? Oh, is that the Gilded Tarot Royale? That is the Gilded Tarot Royale. Oh, you're about to drive. Okay. Well, if you will listen, I will tell you a tale. I haven't done a story in a minute. When's the last time I told a story? Hold up. What was the last story even about? I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oh goodness. Excuse me. It would have been like story time or something like that. The Tale of Karen the Heron. Was that the last one? That's interesting because I think Zanoni Snowflake just got the blue heron. And I think the last story time I did was the tale of Karen the Heron and Vinny the Cobra. There's Rob talking about me. Here I am, Rob. So I was at work today. I was talking about how you were like, "Oh, my name is Patrick," and uh I say I don't want a spiritual whatever, but I have a spiritual YouTube channel with a tapestry of Saturn, and I do spiritual things. And so I was at work today. Um, ooh, that's a little too late. And because you asked me, like, what was it? Like, who is like, where's the impulse to do whatever coming from or whatever? And then it was like my better nature. I was at work today and it was like, it's my better nature. I was like, oof, well, if only my better nature were here. Oof, I can't even get into all that. Story time? Can I tell a story with these cards? I guess I could see. I could try. Try to do a short story. Oof, I don't know. I guess I can just shuffle some cards and see what comes out. Where have I been lately? Honestly, where have I been lately? What have I been doing lately? An enjoyable eclipse season? Is that what this is? Maybe I'll shift into my better nature. It's like alcohol, but instead of it being like, it's like the opposite of alcohol for me. I'm just like randomly nice sometimes. I don't want to use these. The Nine of Pentacles came out. I gotta blow my nose. 1 second. I don't even remember what I was talking about. The Nine of Pentacles came out, and the Five of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. And this is automatically, it's an energy of appreciating the small things. And it's an energy of not disregarding humble beginnings. Because, like, here's this massive pinnacle with the Five of Pentacles. Well, it's like 5 coins that make up one pinnacle shape. And then here are like lots of little ones that we tend to. I don't know. I'm not feeling these. Oh, that's the Knight of Cups. I saw the Knight of Cups before. I thought it was the Knight of Wands. I don't know what I'm doing. I kind of want to use the SKT though. So the deck that I have coming in is SKT the third. I got the Vitruvian edition and yeah. Okay, thank you. That's for somebody out here. Knight of Cups still at the bottom. With the Page of Cups. What? Page of Cups, Knight of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. What? I don't know. So I want to use the Vitruvian edition and the third edition. I think it's Revelations. Spirit Keepers Tarot Revelations, the third. I almost missed it. I got an email because I'm signed up for the newsletter or whatever about the planner, and she was like, "Oh, and by the way, like the decks will be those who pre-ordered, like your orders will be shipping." I was like, "What? Pre-ordered? Pre-orders were back in March." I feel like something happened. I feel like I had a thought, and I don't remember what it was. I will get a final card though. Oof, Warner. But I do want to use SKT. What do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I'll just sit here. Excuse me. I want to use a deck I haven't used in a minute. Or not. I don't know. Maybe I'll just end this and like watch more anime. I was up until like 11, no, like 10:50 last night. Just like one more episode, one more episode, one more episode. Interesting. So I've noticed at work there was a little bit of DRAMA. Um, and I think today, because it was last Thursday or last Friday, and I was just like, you know what? I'm like low key over this. And today was a lot better. Lots of ego games, and it's like, girl. I mean, if you want to play an ego game, like you gotta have something. You can't play an ego game and not have anything. You know what I mean? It's like if you're playing ego games, you got to be smart. Or if you're playing ego games, you got to be pretty. Or if you're playing ego games, you got to be wealthy. Like whatever your ego is based on, like you got to be it. Like you can't be playing ego games like smarter than whatever ego games and like you're always wrong. You know what I mean? So, it was a lot of that. Just like, but you're wrong. But you're wrong. But you're still wrong. You're still wrong. So like you're wrong. But then we get humbled. You know what I mean? And it was just like it's coming into play. Slowly but surely. This time the Nine of Swords came out. The Nine of Swords came out, and Death is at the bottom of the deck. Behind Death is the Three of Swords. And the King of Wands is behind. Speaking of ego games, here we go. The King of Swords, oof. The King of Swords and the Five of Cups. You can't be playing ego games if you in this Five of Cups energy. Like, hello? How? Because then you just like you set yourself up for failure. Not that it's a competition, but it's like a surefire way to like make sure your ego gets bruised. And it's essentially like at that point you beating yourself up because it's like, I'm not going to enter myself into a strongman competition and then I can't even lift 10 pounds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. You know what I mean? Or I wouldn't sign up for a marathon and not train for it in my shape, in my physical condition. Oof. Now the troll's gonna go off to troll school and do his troll homework and come back smarter and more funny, but still troll. Wait, why is the Nine of Swords between the Three of Swords and the Death card now? It's supposed to be like this. Excuse me. What's interesting though, so there's like this red shadowy thing up top. It almost reminds me of the Deceit card in the Energy Oracle cards and the owl flying into the bedroom window. But this card, it reminds me of a TV show. And it's out in the desert and it's like after sunset. There are these ladies dressed in red. Also, in this deck, the pommel stone, is that the name of it? The pommel stone looks like eyes. Don't they look like little eyes? These things, like that right there, doesn't look like an eye. But anyway, in the show, they're told to fear these red ladies or whatever. And you end up finding out that they're good spirits that help out women. And the men in the little desert village or whatever told the women that they were evil or that they killed people or whatever so that they wouldn't work with the spirits that actually work with them. And it wasn't until basically an outsider came, went on her quest to forge a weapon that could expel a spirit, an evil spirit from a body, but leave the body mostly intact. um, that like she was out in the desert, like gathering like little things of it's the magicians. Um, the anime I'm watching right now is World Trigger. The show I'm talking about is the magicians. So I can dunk on trolls all day. All I got going for me is my low vibeness. But yeah, the show is the magicians, and she was out trying to gather like tiny specks of black sand, and then she passed out, and then one of the spirits approached her, and then I can't remember if she made a request or whatever, but the spirit like gathered the sand for her, and that's when she found out. And but she had to go back to the village and basically tell everybody else or the women that like these spirits aren't whatever, like they're literally here to help you. They will literally do whatever you ask of them, and they require nothing in return. And that's what this reminds me of on top of this lady with all the worries. I mean, and if you find something like that out, then it does have the power to transform like Three of Swordsy types of situations. I feel like there's also an energy here of like because of that story, it's an energy that's like accepting help in certain ways and not others. Like the owl, we would accept, but this red spirit thing, we wouldn't because of how we've been conditioned to view the red spirit thing. Or maybe the owl's just going to be like, yeah, like that red spirit thing isn't evil. Like it's literally there to help you. Like literally at your disposal. I don't know. What deck do I want to use? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing today. Maybe I'll just pull out a bunch of decks. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to timestamp this 20 minutes. I mean, take it as it resonates. You know. I mean, I feel like if I were to pare that down, or if I were try to make that whatever, I feel like it goes back to the energy almost again with the Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles of like not cursing humble beginnings. It goes back to that energy of like journeys and paths, that everything that you've been through Oh, who was that? What was that? Was that? It had to. Maybe it was a video. Maybe it was a reader I was watching. It had to be a reader. I don't think it was. No, it wasn't anime. It was World Trigger. Uh, because they're going and they're trying to rank up or whatever. They're fighting these matches and they lost their first match. And somebody said it was something like losing isn't bad. It's what you do with it, with the experience. Because if you learn from that experience, then you losing could actually be a really good thing because it gets you to move forward. It's almost that energy that's like, if you never make a mistake, then you never really learn or something like that. My brain is not holding on to anything right now, apparently, but it's that energy. And I think it kind of sort of applies to this. And it's like something that was once a burden or something that we once felt some type of way about going through. It's like if we look at it with the right lens, it has the power to actually propel us into exactly what we want. Or it's like we realize that there's something that it gives us that leaves us off far greater than if we had never experienced it in the first place. But we can't continue to look at that thing with the perspective that we have been, because then it's not going to give us anything that it hasn't already given us, which is like grief and heartache and whatever else, right? So it's like almost that ish energy. Let's see. I'm just gonna like go through all of these. A lot of spirituality and morality is aesthetic. Ooh, I agree. Oh, I didn't look at the time. So I'm gonna say 20. What is this? Gilded Tarot Royale. Gyld. Tarotroyale. 0000. And then next is 23 minutes. I'm just gonna pull a bunch of decks and get little random short messages. Yeah, it's that kind of energy. Who did that come out for? Oh, it came out for one of my friends. Um, I love her. She called me my journey buddy. She video called me the day before yesterday, but Saturday, like I ate brunch with my grandma, and then I came home and I was talking to my mom about stuff that I do not want to be on my path. I don't want to know. I don't want to have to deal with it. That's a synchronicity that I don't like. It's like synchronicity in the worst way. And you're just like, that can't be my path. That could not be my journey. It can't be. Like, it can't be. Like, it really can't be. And then it kind of pulled on a synchronicity from the day before. And I'm just like, don't need those senses mended. I'm good. It can stay offline. I don't need it. It's someone else has that gift and that ability. They can do it. They can do it. Someone who wants to do it can do it. Let they who have the desire perform the task or whatever. I don't know. All right, what's my next deck? This one came from the middle. So I'm going to put this back. I'm going to grab one from the bottom. Who am I going to grab from down here, though? The in between. I'm grabbing the in between tarot. Easy. Oof. If that becomes my journey, I mean, that's what I don't see it becoming my path and me like getting or doing everything else I want to do. I just gotta hope it's not for me. Because I'm just like, no, 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 anything but that, please. I'm fine pulling cards on the internet. I'm good here. Growth. Growth Schmoth. What is that? Okay. So from the in between tarot, let's see. Oh, if I could shape my path into picking Powerball numbers, like for myself or for others. I was talking about oof. I was leaving work today. Um, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about like accidents at work and like suing for money, and I was like suing for millions of dollars, and it's like, yeah, I'd rather win the lottery than like suffer a physical ailment or injury and then get a lot of money from a lawsuit. So depending on how attached you are to your limbs and physical functioning, there could be a way to get some money or your current lifestyle. It's like, I feel like it would be like there's no, not no merit, but it's like it's almost like when someone is like coaching or a business mogul, whatever, and they're like, if I just gave you the money, then you wouldn't learn anything, but I could teach you how to make the money type of energy. Is very that. It's very that. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to pick winning Powerball numbers. I've had that conversation with Spirit before. Spirit said you're already lazy enough. If you won the Powerball, then you'd really not do anything. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Who is this? Between the Chariot and Strength. I think I saw that card at the cut. I'm not going to take it though. Hey, Skywalkers. Growth. Oh, goodness. This is interesting because I've seen Icarus lately, but it wasn't spelled like Icarus. It wasn't spelled how I'm used to seeing it. Okay. I'm just going to timestamp this at 28 minutes for the in between tarot. So there's some Icarusy, Trojan horse, whatever here. I'll do 28:30 because it took me a second to type it. Ooh, there it goes. Hold up, I gotta look at these cards. Okay, there are like 5 majors. All of these are majors. The bottom of the deck is a major. This is a court card, and then this is the Three of Swords. This is in between the Three and the Four of Swords, and we've already seen the Three of Swords, so I guess that's a theme today. The first card is in between the Fool and the Magician. And the reason why I was talking about Icarus is because of this card. Icarus, it's an interesting energy because it's one of transcending limitations, but it's also one of simultaneously understanding limitations. You transcend your limitations and you fly or you learn to fly, but you also have to understand your limitations because if you fly too high, it'll melt the wax and then you'll plummet into the ocean. At the bottom of the deck, it's in between the Hanged Man and Death. And after that, oh my gosh. All the majors, all the majors. Ah! What? So the bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man into Death. Just saw the Three of Swords with Death, right? And it's not going to focus. Let's play a game where we don't focus at all. So this is the Hanged Man into Death. And then after that, it's the High Priestess into the Empress. And then it's the Magician into the High Priestess. And then it's Death into Temperance. So this is interesting because we start with the Fool here, right? The Fool into the Magician. That came out. The bottom of the deck was the Hanged Man, between the Hanged Man and Death. Oh, it focused again. Hi, I'm back. And then after that, we jump to the High Priestess into the Empress. And then the Magician into the High Priestess, the Magician into the High Priestess, the High Priestess into the Empress, with the Fool into the Magician here. So in between this, and then we end up with Death into Temperance. So that's interesting because it's like, here's this cycle that runs backwards. So it's running Empress, High Priestess. Oh, well, I guess it's this way. Empress, High Priestess, Magician, and then the Fool that we start with that came out. But it happens making tacos. What? Okay. Hopefully they're yummy. If they're good, eat one for me. If they're not, you can have them all for you. So there's this cycle that goes retrograde, basically, in the middle of this cycle that's going prograde, because here's the Hangman into Death, and then here's Death into Temperance. You see that? And then this retrograde cycle reaches out to the more conscious happening, like actually came out rather than the bottom of the deck. And then under that is the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords. And we have the Three of Swords into the Four of Swords right here. So that's why it's like, there's this like, well, I guess it is the in-between tarot. You're almost done driving? Nice. Let me know when you make it safely to your destination. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, that's fine. What is this? I'm like literally starting to get nauseous. Well, maybe I should lay these out. Maybe that'll help me. I'll set these here. Okay. So the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords is the fifth card from the bottom. The Three of Swords into the Four of Swords is the sixth card from the top. So then maybe it's like this, and these are running concurrently. Because then that'll put this here. If you've ever watched The Witcher, it's almost like that. Where you're trying to piece together the sequence of events or whatever, and then you're like, you spend, I don't know, I spent a good number of episodes like, okay, 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 all right, and then like, wait, what? Like, wait, wait, like, what's the sequence of events here? I'll take a picture and show it to you since I don't have my overhead camera. Oof, there's a little bit of shadow. Oh, that's fine. It adds to the card's effect. The last card in this, by the way, is the King of Swords into the Page of Swords. And King of Swords is an energy that is like here or whatever. So it's like this. At the bottom, you can see, where is it? Here. That's the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords, and it was the fifth card from the bottom. And then the Six of Swords was at the top, or the three into the four was at the top. So I moved it in the middle, like they're happening concurrently. And then it bridges over into this. So across the top, it's the Fool into the Magician, the Hierophant into the Lovers into the Chariot, the Tower into the Star, the Sun into Judgment, and then they meet. It's the Three of Swords into the Four of Swords, and then the King of Swords into the Page of Swords. So here, I don't know what this is. You can see here on the second and the third card. So this is the hermit, the Hierophant into the lovers into the Chariot. It moves forward. Under it, it's the High Priestess into the Magician into the Fool. This one is moving like backwards under it. Like that's going forward. This is still going forward because that's the order I laid the cards in, but the energy is moving back because it's going from that in between the High Priestess Magician back to um the Magician into the High Priestess, which is interesting. It's also interesting though that there's like two opposing energies. You have the Fool who's like transcending limitations and learning to fly, and then you have the Hangman who's bound. They're both energies of transcendence, right? The Fool is more outwardly, the Hangman is more inwardly. But the Hangman, what is this, a button? Oh my gosh. There's a random button inside my shirt. It's inside the label, inside the shirt. You know how they give you an extra button just in case you lose one or one pops off? I almost set up my other camera. Now I kind of wish I did. And on the King of Swords is in the shadow of the laptop. So you don't really see the king as clearly there. Like the king, oh, look, the king is in the shadow and the knight is in the light. I think since these are like two different paths, there's this energy where they both meet at the Three of Swords. And it's this energy where it's almost like hurt, pain, grief, unfortunate circumstances, misfortune, loss. It's an inevitability in life, regardless of the path you take. And they're both, by the end of it, with the King of Swords into the Page of Swords energy, or between the King of Swords and Page of Swords, it's like you're going to inherit or receive something either way. What's going to inform what you inherit? It's almost the approach that you've taken up to that point. Because on the top path, just going like off of the Three of Swords, we start with the Fool into the Magician, we end with the Sun into Judgment. So this is an energy that's like when the Three of Swords comes, it's like it's ready. And so it inherits something lighter from the Three of Swords. This energy coming off of Death into Temperance, the Two of Swords into Three of Swords, it's almost like it's an energy that's never really, I want to say it's never completed a cycle. And so when it reaches the Three of Swords energy, it inherits darkness from the King of Swords into the page. And swords is the mind, right? And it's almost like, I feel like I was just talking about it. I mean, the Three of Swords and the Death card are the energies that come out again. Um, but it's like the difference between being an optimist and a pessimist, where an optimist and a pessimist can have the exact same, they can begin in the same position, but the optimist will go a lot further because it's like that's what their end goal is. And so they're going to keep going until they get a more positive outcome. And it's like the pessimist needs only experience disappointment 2 or 3 or 4 times and then they're done. Then, like, well, everything is like this. I knew it wouldn't work out anyway. So, like, why even bother? Why even try? And it's like, the next one or the one after that or the one after that could have been the success that the optimist finds because they keep going. The pessimist pulls out. And it's an energy, it's almost like it pulls out every time and it retreats. And maybe that's why it's like within this cycle by itself, it's the hangman into death and then death into temperance. But between the hanged man and temperance is this retrograding, like high priestess into the magician, magician into the, well, empress into the high priestess into the magician. And it's almost like with the empress, you were on the cusp of birthing it, but then you like second guess yourself or you second guess whatever you're receiving. So you exit that high priestess energy. And then it's like you're back at the drawing board, but instead of creating with the magician energy connected to a high priestess, it's like you're just trying to do it on your own. And it feels like the magician connected to the high priestess creates exactly what is within the mind's eye, and it works out every time. Because that's the gift of high priestess like vision. It's like being given the blueprints, but not following them. And so by the time death comes into temperance, it's almost like instead of being completely reborn, it's just reanimated. It's like a zombie. So it's like a phoenix every time it dies and comes back to life. It's smarter, it's brighter, it's learned more, like with that rebirth energy. But in the reanimation energy, it's like it decays more and more and more every time you put it into the ground. Like a zombie that won't die, but it's like more rotted and more fetid every time. And so the mind of that one just, it's like it becomes host to um, lots of not great things. Meanwhile, on the top, what I love about the top is that it goes from the tower into the star, and then the sun into judgment. It's like with this energy up here, it almost skips the star and becomes immediately a sun. And it immediately becomes a sun because of the commitment that's expressed in front of the Hierophant that then moves forward with the chariot energy. This is like that for better or for worse. And so when worse comes, when faced together, they end up even better. And it's the energy of like, without the worst, there wouldn't be better. But this is an energy that understands that without worst, there wouldn't be better. So it embraces the worst and it looks for the opportunity to make it better. This is an energy at the bottom that only sees the worst. And so when it meets the worst, it just like it grows even worse. It's never made better. And it's like that's the way that we set ourselves up to inherit more of whatever it is that we've been experiencing or that we will experience in the future. Oof. And see, like, again, here with the high priestess, it's like if the high priestess would have moved forward into Empress energy, it would have been in the sun, but it moved backwards, back into the night. And it feels like it's this energy that it's like every time it tries, it's like it's getting caught on something. So every time you try to move it forward, and it's elastic, it gets caught on something and it's elastic. So it's like every time you try to move it forward, it catches on something and it can't move forward, but then it snaps back. Sometimes it snaps back even harder, which puts us in a darker state of mind. And there's like some underlying truth or some underlying way that we view either ourselves, the world, or ourselves in relation to and with the world. And that's when, instead of it being like an ego thing, it's a self thing. That's when it's like there's something that we hold to be true within us or about the world or about the way the world views or sees us. And so it's like that's what manifests time and time again. And so with the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords, because this energy has experienced so many snapbacks, it's like every time we were about to break into the day, we're plunged back into the night. Now it's like it fears this because it knows that that means it's almost like the day. Like that, I feel like this is actually a sunrise, but it becomes a sunset because this energy hasn't necessarily experienced light in the past, and because it didn't experience light in the past, it keeps itself from experiencing light in the future. Very onwardness type of energy. I guess it would be towardness, not towardness, it would be sludgeness and onwardness. How the past continues to affect the future. Okay, well, that happened. And I think going back to the beginning, Because where my brain is right now, because it's like, again, with the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords, sunrises turn into sunsets. So it's like, it's almost like the day never fully breaks. We never reach noon. It's always like in between midnights. And then I looked at the Fool into the Magician at the top of the other path. And then I look at the Hanged Man into Death in this one. And like, it's almost like this is how they deal with light. This is an energy that soars in light. This is an energy that fears light, like a vampire. And I've been there. Like I said, like, I remember I was in a depression group with three or four other people, three other people. And on the like the first day we were talking about our triggers or whatever. And I was like, happiness triggers me. And they were this one dude was like, what? I was like, yeah. Like being happy was a trigger for me. And I've talked about it before. And it's like it's this energy. So like whenever things would get too good, then I would plunge myself. Like I would never step into the light. And there were things that I worked for, opportunities that I worked for. And then when I got them, I turned them down because of what a life in the light would be. And it wasn't a life I was ready for at the time. And so, it's no surprise that I experienced mental decay, and to the point where it was like, bruh, if you don't do something, and then that's when I was like, okay, I got to do something. But that's what this is. And again, it's like, it's an understanding and it's a knowing that like life is always going to have challenge in it. And it's not an absence of challenge that makes like happy people or fulfilled people or successful people or whatever people, like going back to the ego games. But it's almost like this is an energy that would set itself up to lose ego games against other people to prove that its conception of self is correct and it's not a very high or good conception of self. And so like there's a lot of comparison down here to other people. There's a lot of like everything. And it's almost like in our need, sometimes in our human need to find a reason why we don't have what somebody else has, or why we're not where we want to be. It's like maybe that's why this is like Three of Swords, King of Swords energy. Because it feels like that's where a lot of truth is born. That's where a lot of self truths are born. It's like, well, I don't have that because I'm like this or because of whatever. Like, nobody likes me for this reason. And so, in the mind of that person, they become someone who's unlikable for said reason. And I feel like the same could be true on the other ship. The same could be true on the other end of the spectrum as well, where it's like people like me for my generosity and people like me for my kindness and people like me for my style. And so it's almost like either way, it builds the self. The process in itself is like neutral. The process in itself doesn't lean one way or the other. It doesn't lead towards building up the self or tearing down the self. It's what we put into the process that determines the result, right? It's like if you put water in your car and it needs gasoline, and you put water in your tank and it needs gasoline to go. It's like it's not going to go if you put gasoline in it. It'll go diesel, maybe E85. There may be some fuels that like you don't get maximum efficiency with, but you can still go somewhere, somewhat if you drive carefully and it doesn't combust or whatever. I don't know. It's like the engine is the engine. It's what you put into it that determines where we go. Death and the tower are on top of each other, but the tower goes into the star. Death goes into temperance. If I had to choose, I'd rather go into the star because temperance is an energy that more or less maintains. Or like it's a lot slower of an energy than the star is. And it's like that's why you're ready for the moon when you hit moon energy because that star has happened. If you went into the moon off of temperance, you probably it would be harder to make it to the sun. It would be harder to make it to the sun if you enter the moon with a temperance energy rather than a star energy because the tower happened. And it's in the tower that something is let go, that something is loosed, that something is broken free from. Death is a transformation, but there's nothing within that transformation that inherently changes anything. Right? Like when a phoenix rises from its ashes, it's still a phoenix. It carries all of the properties that it had before it died. It's like the exact same thing. And I know I just said that, like, a risen phoenix is brighter and smarter and whatever, and whatever this energy is down here is like it rots. What did I say? It's reanimated instead of reborn. Oof, I like that. It's reanimated instead of reborn. Like you don't put the body back together, you don't clean it up, you just breathe life into the same decaying husk of whatever. And then that's when it becomes really horrific. And it's like, oof. And it's like, yo, girl, well, you didn't Frankenstein me any like new body parts. You didn't give me a new arm, so I'm still missing an arm. You didn't give me a new heart, so my heart is the exact same as it was before. You know what I mean? But after the tower, it's like there's something that was let go. There was something that was changed. There was something that was loosed. With death, you just like put dirt on it. You put dirt on it, you bury it, and then like a seed, it grows. But like a seed, you're not going to get anything out of it that's not within it to give you. Oof. That one was. I feel like that one could be kind of rough. It could also be beautiful. Like it offered both paths. And I feel like I spoke more to the rougher side of it though. Um, but the opposite is true for the not as rough side. Like it was there, the fool into the hierophant. What was it? Fool magician into the hierophant lovers, into the lovers chariot, into the tower star, into the sun judgment. That's an energy too. Again, it's like for better or for worse, where when you encounter worse, you're made better. And so maybe it's also a test of commitment. And it could be commitment to anything, commitment to oneself, commitment to one's ideals or ideology, commitment to one's betterment, like or healing or whatever, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times it's almost like when you make a commitment, it's bound to be tested. in some way. And it's like there's a difference between like something that's bound to be tested and something that's bound to fail. Because I feel like sometimes it's like, how come like every time I try to get my life together, then like this happens and that happens, and it's like the universe wants me to fail, and it's like, no, the universe doesn't want you to fail, but the universe is gonna test you because life is life, and life continues to happen. Life will always happen, and I feel like for better or for worse, it's not just it's not just like staying together. You know what I mean? It's like the implication is that you'll actively work through the worst to get better rather than just like enduring the worst and waiting for the worst to be over. Because in that, and again, it's like almost a difference between the Tower Star and Death Temperance. Because in sheer endurance, nothing is gained besides the maintenance of presence, like you're still here. And that's like that Death Temperance. But in the Tower Star, it's like when you move through that time, you learn. And so the next time you endure something like, or the next time you encounter something like that, you know what to do to get through it rather than just like hunker down and hope that it passes. And maybe that speaks to cycles. And then I guess we spiral upward when we handle it better. And then eventually we clear it and we go free. It's like, and then you like, here's the wall, right? So it's like you're spiraling up and then you clear it and you break free. You move beyond, but you're going to keep hitting this wall. That's the leaf cotton and eddy. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like, wait. I struggled with that forever. Now I don't even like, wait. When did that happen? It's like, girl, you made that happen. Hey, Eve. Drum roll for you, I guess. You just finished working. What? Was it a long day? Oof. Okay. Ah, come on. Now I get to pull a deck from the top shelf. I don't want to take that deck. It's too easy, but it's calling me. Oof. I haven't used this deck in a minute. Or yee yee, if you prefer. Hmm. I'm going to use the Mystical Dream Tarot. It was a gift from Eve, I believe. And Eve's here, so, you know, like, why not? Hopefully this one is, well, I guess the first one wasn't bad. Second one wasn't bad either. I feel like in general, I'm a very DIY type of person, and I feel like I have very DIY energy. And sometimes there's a non DIY message, and I'm like, and then Spirit's kind of like, well, we said what we said, and I'm like, okay. But most of the times it is like, yeah, you're gonna have to do something for this. It's not gonna just happen. And I feel like low key, we should be grateful for the doing of things. We should be glad that things don't just happen, because then it's almost like it puts the power back in our hands. Because, like I was saying, like if instead of just enduring through a situation, you like work through it, then when you hit it, when you encounter it again, you know what to do to get through it quicker. It's like you know how to dissipate the storm rather than knowing how to like board up your house and hide in the basement for however long. And that's what doing teaches us. It's more difficult, but more freeing by the end of it. I miss my ex roomie. Oh, snap. Oh. So the Dream Protector came out. which is an emperor energy. And we just saw the, well, it was between the high priestess and empress. And the bottom of the deck is the Lady of Swords. The Lady of Swords and the Dream Protector. This is interesting. Because usually, like, water is an internal, introverted, receptive element, and fire is an external, expressive element. But this is like internal fire and external water. I actually want to read this Lady of Swords because I see her every now and then, and the King of Swords, the Lord of Swords, and I don't know if I've ever read either one of them. Let's see. I'm just trying to fill my weekly quota of hours. I'm punching the spiritual clock right now, so I can play games and do homework for the rest of the week. Watch anime. Ooh. So remember I said like the high priestess into the empress was the empress energy that we saw literally just now in the in-between, and how it's interesting that the dream protector emperor like energy comes out now. This is an energy that's inaccessible to the lower path in the last reading because it doesn't break the threshold between the high priestess and the empress. It can never birth what it is that it carries to protect it in the first place. And that's the thing too. And it was like the thing about the seed in the womb and how stress can keep a womb closed. There was a show, it's another anime. There was a lady who turned into a dragon, and sheer force alone, she got pregnant. She was pregnant. Sheer force alone kept her baby inside of the womb for 400 years. She carried a seed for 400 years. And it's like that's the energy before that doesn't break free of the high priestess, empress in between. Yeah, this is the deck with the creepy lovers. The creepy lovers that used to come out all the time. The Lady of Swords is a priestess. That's why I was like, oh, that's interesting. Is a priestess ushering in a deeply spiritual period with fiery awakening. Maybe that's why it's emperor energy associated with it. With fiery awakening, enlightenment, successful accomplishment of life's goals, and reason for incarnation. She manifests high spiritual attainment, shining the light of transcendence, putting within grasp connections with the great consciousness. Self realization is here as the lady lives beyond the limits of the physical world and its ultimate corruption and death. Empty of illusion, she has attained the highest state of intelligence, communicating with the great inner wisdom. The seeker who reaches this state of high spiritual attainment does so only by suffering a major transformative crisis, one that completely strips her of all her grounding and familiar comforts. This is like literally everything when I was like, this is an energy that bottom path can't reach. This is another reason why it can't reach it. Because of that, like, that reanimation energy and that like death into temperance rather than like the tower into the star into the sun and judgment, you know what I mean? So it's just coming out here again anyway. um oh, also the part of like with um the fool into the magician with that Icarus energy, of transcending limitations, but still like having some limitations. I don't know what they are because it's almost like you got to get off the ground before you can even begin to understand the limitations of being in the air because the air was a limitation before you were in it. You know what I mean? It's like if you crawled all your life, you probably wouldn't have to worry about like low hanging um ceiling, like you wouldn't have to worry much about bumping your head on a lot of stuff than if like you were up and walking. You know what I mean? But I guess if you're short enough, you don't have to really worry about hitting your head on anything either. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like, if you always crawl, there are things that you don't have to worry about because you always sort of like make clearance in a way. Anyway, back to this. Empty of illusion, she has attained the highest state of intelligence, communicating with the great inner wisdom. The seeker who reaches this state of high spiritual attainment does so only by suffering a major transformative crisis, one that completely strips her of all her grounding and familiar comforts. She is ripped away from the rhythms of a once established and well loved life. Left with feelings of abandonment and deep heart wrenching loss, the seeker goes through the tragic pains of rebuilding and birthing a new life for herself. Only by suffering complete desolation and ruin is she able to climb the spiritual ladder to enlightenment. The arrival at this state of great knowing comes only with the high cost of sorrow and death. So, like, taking out all the like the harsh, well, that's why I feel like it's like born in the dark, evolved in the light. Because it's like it takes that to get us to reach a certain, literally just open the book right to her page again. um it takes a certain amount to get us to wake up, but I honestly I feel like it's all theory and conjecture at this point. I hypothesize that we could reach a point in our lives and our journeys and our development where it doesn't take loss or tragedy to get us to move on to the next thing. I believe we can reach a state of flow where it's like when our time in a certain space is done, we leave it. And so we don't need a tower to remove attachments that we have to things that no longer serve us. And it's not that like it won't hurt or that it won't be sucky necessarily, but it's like it also doesn't have to be like as much, right? It's like you don't need somebody like frauding your identity and trying to destroy your character and all kinds of stuff before you're like, you know what? Like, we're just on different paths in life. You could literally be like, you know what? We're on different paths in life. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not a great example. Again, it's it's an energy where it's like birds and earthworms. Like until the earthworm turns into a butterfly, it's not gonna know what it's like to fly. The earthworm is a caterpillar, like the ugly duckling. What was that? What was that? That's the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, death, and the Three of Swords. It's the earthworm realizing it was a caterpillar, and that's why it never liked the taste of dirt. Because it was supposed to be eating leaves and sweaters or whatever. Also, it's interesting that that one ended with the King of Swords into the Page of Swords, but King of Swords energy, and this is Queen of Swords energy. The Queen of Swords, I haven't seen as much as the King of Swords, or the Queen of Swords not hasn't been as prevalent for me Because last time the King of Swords came out, and the King of Swords energy was like actually ready for something new. King of Swords energy was like, okay, you make a good point. It doesn't hurt for me to listen. It doesn't hurt for us to try this. And the Queen of Swords was like, no, no, absolutely not. I already know that it's going to fail. Why try? Why waste time? Why bother? Now maybe she's coming around. I don't know. And it's interesting because it's a moth. It's like a moth. It'll be a moth or a butterfly, but it's some kind of silkworm caterpillar thing. I don't know. What was that? Who was that? Was that Amy Poehler and oh, what's her name? I don't remember. On was it SNL? No, or Sweater Weather. Sweater Weather. Sweater Weather. Sweater Weather. I love Sweater Weather. Okay, sorry. Anyway. Um. Oh, I just lost that train of thought. Where did you go? What was I talking about? Queen of Swords. It's interesting because Queen of Swords is cardinal energy for me. That's how I learned the first breakdown of the court system. Queen of Swords is cardinal air. King of Swords is fixed air. But fixed air was actually in a position to move forward where cardinal air was stuck. And that's the thing about Libran energy that can almost be its own undoing. Um, as an energy associated with balance, it's really good at maintaining, but it's like what happens when balance needs to be shifted? And it's like Libra energy and justice energy aren't the same. It's like Libra has an earthly balance, whereas justice has like a cosmic balance. And it's very like um it's like a pound of feathers and like a 10 pounds of feathers and a 10-pound bowling ball both weigh 10 pounds, but the bowling ball is going to sit on the scale and the feathers are going to blow off as soon as the wind comes through. And it's like it's hard to actually balance what is lighter and less physical with what is experienced, what is perceived, like all that air stuff, because it's air, right? But for Aquarius, Aquarius gives weight to that which is yet to be. And so for Aquarius, it's like it's the opposite. It's like Aquarius can hold on to feathers, but it's not great with bowling balls. So anyway, fixed air energy has been on it. Cardinal air energy has been iffy because it feels like cardinal air is just like it keeps going back. It's like all historical. And it's like, okay, I understand like history, but we're doing something different right now. And hashtag not all Libras, of course. It's just the energy. And I feel like a lot of Libra gets touted and praised as balance, but again, it's like I don't know if it's always necessarily it's like the pH scale is the easiest way, and I talked about it before. But it's like justice balance says, okay, we're at a pH 3, super acidic, right? We're shifting to a pH 10. So justice balance is like start moving everything to 10. Where it feels like Libra balance is like we're at 3, we're going to stay at 3. So if you give me a 7, I'm going to give you a bunch of ones to counteract it. If you give me a 12, I'm going to give you even more ones. I'm going to give you something like near 0 to counteract it and keep bringing it back to 3. Whereas, like, again, like that justice balance is like, but we're moving the scale, like, we're moving the balance point from 3 to 10. So there are things that, like, It's gonna change. There are things that have to happen in order to like get us all the way there. And not like 3.01, 3.02, 3.03, 3.04, 3.05, 3.06, 3.07, 3.08. Like you gotta work from 3.00 all the way to 3.99 before you even make it to 4.00. And it's like we're trying to like move a little faster than that. Anyway. Yeah. Like one of my best friends is a Libra. And he's I remember when he told me, he was like, "But if I'm too nice to you, you'll expect it." I'm like, "But you're my friend. How is it that you're nicer to people that aren't as close to you? I don't get it." He's like, "If you're too nice, I'll expect it." He was like, "If I'm too nice, you'll expect it." I'm like, "Well, as my friend, as one of my closest friends, I think I should be able to expect you to be nice to me." What? I don't know. Dude's like, anyway, it's fine. That was earlier in our friendship. Oh, snap. This is interesting. Speaking of feathers and scales, Mayat came out at the cut. On the other side is the Ten of Wands with the two swordfish. And then these two things up here with the comet. I don't know. Is that it from this deck? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What was that? What was it? What? I'll give this. Where my phone at? Hey Siri, where are you?
I'm here.
Siri could hear me. Who this? What? I was brave today, y'all. I've been brave lately. The brave get rewarded. And there are things that I desire. so, so to get the things that I desire, there are things that I don't desire that I must do to get said things that I desire. Yeah, I was brave. I was brave. I've been a little braver lately. And it's all in the sake of my Jupiter is in Libra. And as a Pisces, Jupiter is my traditional ruling planet, but my Jupiter is retrograde. But I think Jupiter likes Libra. But anyway. So yeah, I'm like shifting the scales in my own life. I'm trying to. So sometimes I gotta like leap just to take a step. Like to take half a step, it's like I gotta like jump through 15 hoops and leap and fly for like 2 seconds. But it's fine. I'm making my way. Anything else with this? Maybe I should read. I don't think there's anything else. I stand corrected. This is interesting. Talking about Libra. The Ace of Wands came out. And the Ace of Wands is very birth of Venus to me. But I think this Ace of Wands is reiterating the message of the Lady of Swords. Because instead of her rising from the sea foam in a clamshell, she's rising from a lotus. And the lotus comes from the mud. It's very Om Mani Padme Hum. The jewel is in the lotus, but you don't get a lotus without any mud. So you need the mud to get the lotus to get the jewel inside the lotus. So if you really want the jewel, you have to be okay with mud. And Libra is not a very muddy energy. Libras is very, very not muddy. Libra's like, what? No, I think you misunderstand. You get jewels by going to the jewelry store and you buy them with money. And it's like, that's not where these come from. Sorry. But anyway. Oh, look, the Lady of Swords got 2 jewels. Anyway. I'm still going to read The Dream Protector. I literally just opened the book to the Ace of Wands, so I guess I'll read the Ace of Wands first. From the lotus of creation rises the anima, the goddess of creativity, the spirit that infuses all being and gives rise to the passions that fuel love, sexuality, and all procreative talents. The lotus takes its origin in the depths, the landscape of dream and vision, soaring into consciousness along with its beauty of thought and fragrance of the imaginal garden beneath the scene. Through the gift of imagination, the idea flows into form. Here is the moment of inspiration. The goddess prepares to release her soul bird, muse and inspirer of all visions. She clasps the golden fish, swimmer of the depths, and communicator with the unconscious. There's that unconscious mind, inner mind, whatever, wisdom. The golden fish is the teller of tales, the ideas born in vision and in dream. It is the golden fish whose words give flight to the soul bird, and it is the song of the soul bird that communicates with waking consciousness and drives the passions to create and manifest the gifts of the goddess. Here is the potential of energy to move past blocks and past difficulties as one opens to positive pathways. The spirit rises to bring news of a new period. The bird of discovery is about to take flight to proclaim the event. Saturn's looking a bit smoky. This thing over here, I've never noticed before. You see that? It's like, it looks like the shadow of a moon right there. I've never noticed that before. I don't know. Is that Jupiter? There's Jupiter. Or is it Uranus? Which side of Saturn are we looking at? It might be because of this too. I got it over a bit farther. Is it a little less smoky now? No, it's fine. Is that on my camera? Did it move? Did it move? Yeah, it moved. Maybe I need to clean this lens or something. Yeah, that's on my camera. That's hold up. The ghost of Saturn passed. I literally, here it is. Give me a second. Let's see if this does anything. Yeah, I think maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. You like the different Saturns? You'll have to do a smoky. You'll have to tell me what smoky Saturn means. Smoky Saturn, twinkling stars, Raven Saturn. I remember that one. Ooh, Ace of Swords. Okay. Oh, there's the Ace of Wands again. This is so. So we have the golden fish, swimmer of the depths and communicator with the unconscious, the teller of tales, the ideas born in vision and dream. The golden fish, the golden fish's words give flight to the soul bird. Now, the soul bird communicates with waking consciousness and drives the passion to create and manifest the gifts of the goddess. The potential of energy to move past blocks and past difficulties as one opens to positive pathways. And so the energy there, it's almost like it's again, Sphere Begun, does it get rid of orbs too? Let me stop. I don't know how I feel about orbs, y'all. I feel like a lot of people may be like, oh my gosh, orbs, no way. And I'm like, oof. I'm like, leave me alone. Orbs, they be asking you to do stuff. I don't know if I don't know. That last orb came with Ul and Needle. Mending senses. It's like, oof. There are some senses that I don't know. Let me stop. I release myself to whatever the path and journey, however it unfolds for me, I guess. No use in fighting it. They're your friends. I have enough friends. I'm good. I don't need any more friends. I'm kidding. Um, it's the energy again. It's like if you want the jewel, it comes from the lotus, and the lotus comes from the mud. So if you want the jewel, you want the mud. Like from a human perspective, we can desire the jewel and not want mud. We can hate mud and love jewels and never get a lotus to get the jewel. But it is like, so going back to that Libran energy, put the oof in ool. Get a little can. My candles. I can't keep a candle lit to save my life. Like the wicks always burn out, and I don't know if I don't. Oh, this one a little questionable. I don't know. There's like a little hair on it, like a little chin hair maybe, or an eyelash. It looks like an eyelash. It's short. Um, I don't know if I don't burn them long enough or what, but they always like you see that the wicks burn out, and then I'm like, what? So anyway, if you want the jewel, you want the oof. You do. You can't have an oof free life and be decadent. Um, but anyway, it's like with that Libran energy, like that's the balance that would need to be understood. So it's almost like, I mean, that could be the same for any energy though. It's almost like, oh, that came out almost. No, well, it didn't come out. It's almost like it's time for Libra to learn justice balance rather than like a Queen of Swords balance, rather than like a Two of Swords balance, Two of Pentacles balance. You know what I mean? And it's almost like it's like when someone thinks that they know something and so they're not open to expanding their knowledge of that thing because they think that they already know all that there is to know. And so it's like that becomes a roadblock. It's almost like being known as the energy of balance makes it difficult for Libra to actually learn balance because Libra thinks that it already is balance. And it's like Libra sets itself as the standard of balance when it's like the standard of balance lies beyond Libra. Libra is almost like a distillation. Going back to alchemy and oof. Oof. Excuse me. Going back to alchemy and astrology. Shout out to Wrestling Around with the Alchemy of Astrology. I saw that he used it with the runes. I saw most of that video. I think he's done it a few times. The last one, I don't know which one. I watched some of it. But it's like Libra is a distillation of balance energy. It's like a drop, a few drops of it. But it's not necessarily balance as a whole, just like Leo is a drop of like strength and not strength as a whole. And Taurus is a drop of the Hierophant or whatever. You know what I mean? And so, like with Taurus, it's the thing about it's like when we get comfortable in the stability that we have to the point where we don't push ourselves to reach greater stability. You know, it's like you can be stable and content where you are, but you could also have more. And it's not a greed thing, but it's like it's for the energy of Taurus being Venus ruled to kind of sort of be decadent. I don't know, opulent. Maybe not opulent, because I feel like opulent might be a bit extreme, but it's like it's to be comfortable. And we can find comfort in a lot of things, but to find comfort in comfortable situations, it's like that. Anyway, it's like that, like the golden fish to the soul bird to the goddess is the understanding of the balance that Libran energy, most specifically, I guess, is in a place of developing. And I love that. I love that it's the golden fish connected to the unconscious that talks to the soul bird that communicates with the waking consciousness to move something forward. And like I was saying, like Libra can hold bowling balls all day, but feathers are going to blow off of the scale. So you're never going to even get 10 pounds of feathers onto the scale to weigh against the bowling ball. You know what I mean? But this is like Libra learning to keep the feathers on the scale and then maybe put a few more feathers on the scale so we can ditch the bowling ball. Because, you know, bowling is passe. Nobody does it anymore. My dad can come for me in the comments if he wants to. He'll never see this, so it's fine. I'm just playing. Apparently, my father's side, they're all bowlers. All of them. And they're all at least good. And I am trash at bowling. I am like gutter ball garbage. Like straight gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball. And everyone else is good. And I'm just like, apparently I inherited my mother's bowling skills. I don't know if she can bowl. She's never taken me bowling. I can use the assumption that she's never taken me bowling to assume that she's not good at it either. Because if she were good at it, I feel like she'd do it. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was probably random. I don't know, Libra. This isn't even like for Libra specifically, though. And maybe it's how you're super mediocre at bowling. Okay. Well, you might be even better than me. Like, I was good for like the first 3 or 4 rounds. But after the first 3 or 4, it's just like gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball. I'm like, how? How is it possible to be this bad? But I am. It's fine. I think Libra is an energy that we all deal with. It's just the energy of balance. And we all sort of like maintain balance in different ways. And we all try to get somewhere with the balance that we have. So you don't have to be a Libra, obviously. Not obviously, but you don't have to be a Libra in your big three. Like if you are a Libra, that doesn't make this extra yours because you're a Libra. It's the energy of like balancing and moving somewhere. And again, that's the thing about that bottom row that would never reach this energy because that bottom row, it doesn't have the drive to get anything outside of what it's already gotten. Like you fail or you fall 2 or 3 times and you're ready to give up. It's that top row energy that continues until they make the breakthrough. That's why this is like next for the top row energy. Again, like this is at Emperor. Bottom row energy couldn't even break through the High Priestess to make it to the Empress. And that was another thing in the Ace of Wands that I liked. Because with the Ace of Wands, it's about releasing that soul bird. And it feels like, at least in this deck, the Empress is the dream carrier. And it's a difficulty for the Empress. It's a difficulty for dream carrier energy to release what is inside of it to the external world. Because you know that once it's outside of you, there's nothing that you can do. You can't dictate or determine how people react to you or what you create and what you put out. You can't force people to be nice. You can't force situations to always work out for you. So it's like it's safer and it's easier to be constantly prepared for the worst. There's less disappointment that way. And that's a human thing that we do to shield and save ourselves from disappointment. But it's like And all of the shielding and saving yourself from disappointment, you live a life of constant disappointment to protect you from being disappointed. I don't know. Oh, look. The bottom of the deck, it's the Hierophant. We just saw the Hierophant. Honestly, this is giving me water vibes. So it's learning a lesson from Aquarius. The Hierophant being Taurus is fixed earth with this Aquarian sky element in the back. So yeah, it's Aquarius. Aquarius is a little bit more cardinal than Libra right now, but like if Libra is balance, I don't know why balance is a fixed energy anyway. Like at most, I would say balance is mutable. Balance is probably definitely more fixed. Like nothing about balance is cardinal. You know what I mean? It's mutable if it's maintaining the balance, it's fixed if it's holding it. Like if it's moving back towards balance, it's mutable. If it's in balance, it's fixed. Like where's that cardinal? You know what I mean? Anyway, hello, Janelle. Well, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you like it because you only go for pizza and beer. Bowling kind of sucks. Yeah, it does. Trying to shorten my list of things that suck. Progress is slow. A great way of shortening your list of things that suck is to lengthen your list of things that don't suck. It's all about perspective. I'm kidding. Who is this? Oh, snap. It's the OG card that used to come out all the time. I love this. This is a resolution. So, this is a resolution to that Libra and stuck fixed energy. Libra ain't been cardinal in a long time. I don't know if Libra's ever been cardinal because, again, it doesn't seem like it's within the energy of Libra to be cardinal. That's like calling temperance a cardinal energy. Like temperance and the chariot are two completely different energies. Like you can tell why the chariot is associated with a cardinal sign. Even though sometimes I'm like, Cancer, cardinal, wait, but I guess every element has to have every modality. So somebody in the element of water got to be cardinal. Not that cancers aren't cardinal. Anyway, within astrology and tarot and all of the things, it seems like some things are just like off a little bit. But yeah, temperance is Sagittarius and that's mutable. So how y'all telling me that Libra is cardinal? I don't get it. If Libra is cardinal and temperance is mutable, wait, I'm gonna read this though. The Lord of Ooh. I love this. So this deck gets split in half to put back into the box. You see that? So on the other half, it's the Four of Swords. So it's the Four of Swords and the Lord of Pentacles. And it's like open doorways, open doorways, open passageways, open passageways. Right? Like adjective question mark open leads to verb open. And the Four of Swords is the energy beyond that Three of Swords that we had in the in between, right? Now we've traded a King of Swords energy for a King of Pentacles energy, but the Lord of Pentacles, like when I first got this deck, the Lord of Pentacles and the Lovers came out all the time. I love it. Harmony works in wide circles. Cardinal outside of 3D time that we understand have been oriented to. Wait, what? Hey, Amy. Yeah. I was like, oh, I mean, but you know, the people who came up with it know a lot more than I do. So, or the people who discovered it. I don't know. The people back in the day know more than me. They studied it. I'm just some dude on the internet. The Lord of Pentacles wears the turban of the blue flame of truth. He no longer focuses solely on his earthly kingdom, but now seeks connection to the inner realms and rules with spirituality. While he does not dismiss tradition and its gifts, honoring the old ways indicated by the Order of Nuns, I'll show you the card. So while he does not dismiss the old ways, he moves beyond them as indicated by the white veils that open to the heat of his blue flame. He shares his knowledge and thus leads others to truth. He is master of numbers. It can work magic and manifesting plenty from making good investments. He keeps sharp focus upon all his learning and sees wisdom in old connections, holding doors open for conversation and advancement. The flames upon the conventional religious nuns represent the fires of new understanding from ancestral teaching. The Lord reveres all traditions as containing the possibility of enlightenment. Cherishing what is left behind enhances his achievements of the present and views of the future. Gratitude for the foundation and support makes strong his position. He sees and learns from each part of life, absorbing what is necessary for achievement. He humbly acknowledges his faults, continually seeking to learn more and more. Harmony of mind and body is his goal, the marriage of conscious and unconscious to reach perfection. And I love that it's the marriage of unconscious and unconscious. And I was like, Libra, like, I feel like this is the balance because, again, the fish was like communicating to unconscious, the soul bird was communicating with the waking conscious, and the goddess was kind of sort of like there in between the two. And this also plays on the energy. Oh, I just read it. I just thought it. What was it? I gotta find it again. Give me a second. It was something about integrating the stuff from the past. Oh, that goes back to that energy in the beginning. That was about like not cursing humble beginnings. It was that energy of like your path is your path for a reason, and there are things from your path that you can take, that you can use. It goes to recontextualizing the Three of Swords that came out. It was the Nine of Swords, death, and the Three of Swords. Here's the Four of Swords, that transformed, risen, reborn Three of Swords energy. And this is interesting because it feels like there's a cycle here in this Four of Swords. But it's like you go through this canal over and over and over and over. But one day you're heading there, and out of the corner of your eye, you notice this. And it's that which is connected to this, which is connected to that. And the Hermit Hierophant, the Hierophant that was at the bottom of the deck with the person in the background communing with the stars or whatever, very similar to that energy. And I feel like, again, it is almost this energy because both paths led to the Three of Swords. So it's like you don't take one path and escape the Three of Swords. And I think sometimes when we encounter Three of Swords energies or like Ten of Wands energies or towers, we almost think that maybe we're doing something wrong. It might be a little bit, and if you listen and watch me, I probably don't help sometimes. But it's like we almost automatically assume that like we're doing something wrong or we're not doing something right. And it's like, now people maybe potentially may tell you that on the journey after you reach a certain point everything is fine and you never have to worry about anything ever again. So when you reach those points, then you're like, am I doing something wrong? Like I thought I was beyond this or whatever. And it's like, again, with this energy, eventually you clear it. Eventually You move beyond, or you just do this, or you do this, and then you get like there, but then you like just plummet, just out of it. All three can happen. Um, and there are things that can happen that I didn't mention. Like there are more than three possibilities, right? Come on, there we go. Do I? Is there another deck? Oof, this has already been almost 2 hours. No, no. I am not using the Dolly Tarot for this. Not today. What's this? I'll end with this one. It's the Gilded Lenormand, Gilded Reverie Lenormand. And I'll end with this one because I started with the Gilded Tarot Royale. And it's Lenormand, so hopefully it's shorter. Anyway. Maybe it's a change in perception, not thinking that towers are being done to you, but thinking that you're doing the towers. I'm just playing. Like the case in point, some people think that when a loved one dies, that's a tower, but it's not being done to you. Life's just finite. So I guess what you're saying is, so like I could see a loved one passing being like a Three of Swords moment. But in that way, in the way that life is finite and we all have to go at some point, then it wouldn't necessarily be a tower because it's not anything like, well, I think in some ways it might depend on the conditions of the loved one. Because towers are like more like extraordinary, out of the blue, unexpected. And while a loss of life, because it isn't infinite, is bound to happen at some time, maybe the conditions or the timing in which it happens could be extraordinary. Like if it isn't related to like age or a sickness, it's almost like if it's sudden, then maybe it would be a little more tower-y rather than somewhat foreseen or attributable. But again, maybe not, because like life is fleeting and anybody can go at any time. But what would a tower be? I don't know. Rob, come live with me. Tell me. I'm just playing. I can't. I don't have that capability right now. Oh my gosh. Every single time I pull the Gilded Reverie Lenormand, the mice come out. Mice at the bottom of the deck. The card, there's like 4, 6, 5. I don't know how to count. 5 cards here. There's 4 in reverse and 1 upright. The one upright is the cross. Yeah, we're supposed to do that Patrick and SpongeBob thing. It never happened. The cross is the one that's upright. What's interesting is the cross is the 6 of clubs. Can you see that? The cross is the 6 of clubs. The bottom of the deck, mice, is the 7 of clubs. And behind the 7 of clubs is the 7 of spades, the letter. 6 of clubs, 7 of clubs. So this is going to be another one of those things where like a lot of things happen in between like the first step and the next step. Going back to, I didn't timestamp. I didn't timestamp. I'm gonna say 154. Oof. Oof. I used the Mystical Dream Tarot at some point in here with two C's apparently. I'll say Gilded, Reverie, Lenormand. I like 155, I guess. I don't know. I'll say 153. That'll be somewhere. Timestamps are approximations. Take timestamps as they resonate, just like the readings. But like with the in-between tarot, on the bottom of the deck, it was the Hanged Man into Death, and then we had Death into Temperance, but they were separated by something that occurred in between. Now, what happened in between that prograde movement was something moving retrograde. I don't even like. Oof. Are all these in reverse? Am I gonna take these in reverse? I don't know. So we have the bouquet, which is the Queen of Spades. Oh, see, Queen of Spades is Queen of Air energy. It was in reverse though, but I don't know if I take these in reverse. We'll see. Followed by the birds, which is oh my gosh. So we got a 3, a 4, a 4, a 9, and a 9. So here's a 36 9 in the cross, right? Here's a straight up 9, a raw 9 with the bouquet, Queen of Swords. And then we have the 7 of Diamonds, which is a 3. The numbers don't matter. What's interesting is we have this 9, a 9 9. And then here's this random 3. A 3 is a catalytic number. Oh snap! It's Twitty, the ever generous, the ever generous Twitty. I am always grateful and appreciative. Thank you so much. So we have this 3. A catalyst is something that changes something, and then it either reverts to it. At the end of the day, it's not changed. It changes something else, but it in and of itself is not changed, but it participates in the process. A catalyst is recovered in its original condition at the end of the interaction, but it encourages it as well. It's almost like an instigator, but usually it's like a favorable reaction. It instigates things that are less likely to occur without it happening, like without its presence. And so this catalyst takes us into a 12 that's followed by a 13. The catalyst is the 12, followed by a 13 that immediately meets its mirror in 31. So it's like it's this catalytic 3 and then a 1331 mirror. Whatever. What does this mean though? All this was in reverse. Am I going to take it in reverse? I'll look at it in reverse. Why not? Every suit is here besides hearts. Clubs, clubs, spades, diamonds, spades, diamonds. 2 clubs, 2 spades, 2 diamonds, no hearts. But it feels like the heart isn't a part of it. Like it doesn't feel like the heart is missing, it just feels like the heart is absent. Like it's not a process that necessarily involves the heart. It's kind of sort of like very air or earth, like it is what it is. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. Like the sun is going to rise tomorrow, regardless of the mood that you're in, type of energy, because that's how it's set up. The sun rises, the sun falls. The sun isn't not going to set because like you're afraid of the dark or because you're having such a wonderful time and I never want this day to end. I wish the sun would just stop. And it's like, no, girl. Like, the plants need to get their rest in the nighttime so they can make all the sugars Because if the sun was just up there, they would never have that like Calvin cycle time. I don't know, Krebs cycle, photosynthesis. Excuse me. I'm so tired. Oof. A purge of patterning. Annie, the sun will come out tomorrow. That's my mom's favorite musical. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. That's tomorrow. That is the sun. What is 13? Hold up, I gotta look it up. I didn't think 13 was the child, but it might be. 13 is the child. So we have the child into the sun. The owl, and it's the birds, the owl birds, which is interesting. Again, I think I'm gonna turn these back up right because it's easier to look at. I feel like Rob says this all the time. Not all the time, but oh, like a Bond villain. It's interesting that the owls bring in the sun. There are two bird cards in this deck. There are the owls and the parakeets or whatever. And the parakeets are in the daytime. It reminds me of that Nine of Swords that came out with the Gilded Reverie, and how like it's almost like the message that the owl brings is that the spirit that is there is not hostile. And I love that energy where it's like it's not a cups thing. The heart has no place in it because it's not something like based off of emotion. It's something that just is. It's not, you know, bad people experience bad things and good people experience good things. It's like everybody experiences good or bad. And it's our perception of those experiences and our willingness to allow certain experiences that continue to, in some way, influence the experiences that we have. Like, there are perfectly good people who are perfectly deserving of a lot of things that they would never allow themselves to have. And there are perfectly bad people who aren't that great who will like they want the best. And so, maybe they get some good things, whatever. But in the sense of that Nine of Swords, it feels like a heart is supposed to be here. Odinson with an eye patch. Let's go. Hold up. Wait. Oh, they don't have an eye patch emoji. An eye patch smiling emoji. Oof. What does this say? Oh, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Months of the year, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm actually going to do? No, I'm not. I was going to pull. Yeah, I will. I will. This will take me a second, though. I'm going to pull the Diceology cards and see which cards correspond to these. I got the Jack of Spades, the Ace of Diamonds, the Seven of Diamonds, the Queen of Spades, the Seven of Clubs, and the Six of Clubs. Can I remember all that? Oof, we'll see. Jack up, no. I almost got excited. Excuse me. Ace of Diamonds. Okay. No hearts. Jack of Spades. Seven of Diamonds, Queen of Spades, Queen of Spades. The 6 of clubs and the 7 of clubs were together. And now I need the 7 of diamonds, and there's the 7 of diamonds. Okay, we'll see. There was something that I liked about this, but I forgot it. Twitty Cathy, Twitchy Catchy. Oof. Sesame Street. Can you tell me how to get there? Can anyone? What's that one song? Help. I need somebody. Help. So we're starting with a shift in the wind, a leaf caught in an eddy, and the birth of a new language with the cross. There's an 8 of diamonds energy with this cross, but it's the 6 of clubs. I'm going to see what the 8 of diamonds is. Twitchy. Oh, I just heard the air fryer. I got some fried pickles at the store yesterday. Oh. Oh, I love this for cross energy. Yeah. I love that this cross has 8 diamonds on it. So the 2 energies associated with the cross. So it's a shift in the wind, a leaf caught in an eddy, the birth of a new language, a complete set of instructions, a stubborn moth reborn as a firefly, and a successful trip. Now, with a shift in the wind and a leaf caught in an eddy, with that stubborn moth that's reborn as a firefly, there's a high priestess energy here. There's a high priestess into, like, this is the energy of the high priestess that makes it into empress energy, and it's because of the stubborn moth. So first the earthworm was a caterpillar that was a butterfly or moth, but now the butterfly or moth is going through some kind of transformation to become the firefly. So we're switching modalities and elements. I actually like this energy. I feel like this energy helps me be less frustrated with people. This energy, it gives me patience. Because with the leaf caught in an eddy, it's like even though the winds of change are blowing, even though the earth is ripe with potential for something new, and even though I feel like Zanoni's snowflake said something about patterns and habits, but it's like our patterns and our habits keep us more or less where we are. And it's almost like that's why that Lady of Swords energy has to be like completely untethered, completely just like tornado hits Kansas, takes Dorothy to Oz. Because there's no way Dorothy would have ever imagined herself being there. There's no way but the air that Dorothy would have made it to Oz. Like the wizard didn't go by a tornado, but he went by a hot air balloon. You know what I mean? But there is a persistence to this energy that eventually gets it. I like that. I feel like someone in the space of this though wouldn't like it because it requires so much persistence. Not to say that I'm not in the space of this as well. I feel like it almost requires a little bit more than what we would like, but when we make it, when we breach, like this is Aksunare. This is that Aksunare energy. And the Aksunare is, it's the brilliant dawn in the space where there was only a dark night. With that 2 of swords into the 3 of swords, where sunrises automatically become sunsets, with the energy that never quite breaches daybreak. This is, it's the dawn of a new world. What is this? It's a card in the Diceology. It's dawn before the first day of a new world or something like that. Now I gotta find this card. Give me a second. Oof. This is why I do this. I'm like, okay, we're getting there. Now I'm feeling good. I love this. It took some time, but it's the Four of Diamonds. Dawn before the first day of a new world, an old earth passed away in a breathtaking sight. 4413, which is a 4. This card has 13 and a 1 2, which is a 12. It's not 12. Oh, yeah. Fried pickles. Mm. Is it spears or chips, though? Oh, it's the chips. I've never had a fried spear before. They're the little ones. Yeah, that's the Eddie energy. Oof, everybody is spears. Okay. Well, these are chips. They only had chips at the grocery store. I didn't see fried spears or whole pickles. Um, it's this energy. And the cross is a very Ten of Wands energy for religiously obvious reasons. Even though it's the Six of Wands here. And I love that it's the Six of Wands. Because again, it's like the cross carries. And I feel like this is the message in itself. The cross carries a Ten of Wands energy. It carries a Ten of Wands burden. But with the Six of Wands, with the Six of Clubs energy, it's like spirits like that's your victory. Like that's your key to like you've already won. Like that's the thing. You don't discriminate. If it's fried, I'll eat it. They have fried Kool-Aid. I don't even know what it is. Someone was like, yeah, they got like deep fried Kool-Aid. I was like, how? They had deep fried. I don't know how they fry ice cream and it doesn't melt. What? That's the ingenuity of people. That's humanity right there. We can deep fry ice cream. Hmm. Yeah. We have the technology. We've been integrating polarities and embracing paradox since the beginning of time. Anyway, because it's like it's there's like an energy that we would perceive as Ten of Wands, but it's like in reality it's your Six of Wands. Like that's your victory. I love that. So the bouquet with the Queen of Swords, Queen of Spades, it's operating as a unified whole, living the example in a heart that shines from the depths of the soul. I love a heart that shines from the depths of the soul with that bouquet energy. I love those two together. That's gorgeous. I feel like this is just gonna end like really gorgeously. No, no, absolutely not. You lose me at ranch. There's a good Cajun restaurant here with fried alligator, swampy chicken. Tastes like swampy chicken. I think I have heard that alligator tastes like chicken. I've heard that a lot of stuff tastes like chicken though. Why is chicken like? Why is chicken? When did chicken become the like standard for all food experiences or whatever? All right, see you later, Amy. It is awesome. Frog legs taste like chicken. Yeah. No ranch there either. Okay, thank you. I'm from the Midwest, and people are like, if you're in the Midwest, we're known for ranch, and it's like, no, no, I can't, I can't, I can't. Anyway, I don't discriminate against people who do like ranch. I just don't get it. I don't like Rob any less because he loves a gallon of ranch on his fried pickles. I'm just playing. Okay. Cardinal cross. I have a cardinal cross in my birth chart between Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. That Libra is questionable though. Who would be card? I feel like Gemini. I feel like Gemini is more cardinal air. I could see Gemini being cardinal air, high key. I could honestly see the first four. Well, maybe not Taurus, but like Aries, Gemini, and Cancer. I guess if I had to pick a Cancer, cardinal water sign, it would be Cancer. I almost said or Pisces, but being a Pisces, I'm like, yeah, no. No. Absolutely not. But anyway. Okay. You dip almost. Oh, so Eve is the gallon of ranch, not Rob. I got it confused. I'm sorry. You ate chicken feet in Hawaii? What? I can't. I can't eat feet. I like. I like eating meat, but I don't like being reminded that the meat was alive. Like one time, I went to a restaurant and I had a chicken wing, and there was a deep fried feather, and I couldn't eat it. I was like, "Oh no, this chicken used to be alive." It's a paradox that I'm still embracing. But if it's feet, then like I know what it is. Or if it's like a hoof or something like that, I'm like, I know what this is. This isn't like, indistinguishable parts ground together or whatever. I guess if it has bones in it though, like is that not the same thing? No, it's not. Anyway. Anyway, Jake from State Farm has a gallon of ranch. That's why I don't go with State Farm. Almost said like I could never State Farm is there. All State. That's the other one, right? Chinese dim sum. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Looks just like a chicken foot. Yeah. I think I've seen chicken feet before. I'm just like, it looks like I can't. So the birds, the owl, it's the seven, and this it's more nighty. The seven of diamonds is a well-crafted illusion, a contaminant blowing in the breeze searching for an open eye. The contaminant in the breeze searching for an open eye reveals how shoddy of an illusion this is. It's like, or was, it's an energy where it's like, if you weren't so close to it, if you weren't so invested, you'd be able to see it for what it is. It's an illusion that only works because it's what you desire to see. You know what I mean? It's well crafted because of how it plays to us. But I feel like that helps us in a way because it feels like it more. What did you miss? Wait, I'm just on to the next card. It feels like since the illusion is so tailored to us, in recognizing the illusion as an illusion, we get to see which parts of us the illusion played to. So it reveals something about us that we believed a certain thing, right? Which goes back to, I think it was also in the in between. Um, it was that energy that was like, it was the pessimistic energy. Well, no, it was the one. Yes, it's what we inherit with that King of Swords. It's like we take on because it was the energy between the King of Swords and the Page of Swords, right? So it's like we take on a perception that the world has as of us as our truth. And so instead of it being like this person doesn't like me and that person doesn't like me for whatever reason, it becomes nobody likes me. No one will ever like me. So it's like it elevates something from relative or isolated or potentially a unique instance and circumstance. And it's like it blows it out into this absolute global truth when that may not necessarily be the case. Like you could live your whole life and find out that 10 people don't like you. The rest of the people that you meet in your life love you. But you like the first 10 people you meet, those 10 people in your form, like the people around you in your formative years, the people around you for the earlier part of your life were the 10 people who, for whatever reason, didn't see it for you. And it's like if you would have met a better balance of people, if you would have met a better mix of people, maybe it would have been like some people like me and some people don't. Let me just gravitate towards. I mean, I think that's also a choice though, because sometimes people don't like us and we gravitate to them more than the people who do. Like I had a friend who was like, "Oh, high school was terrible because these kids always made fun of me," and I'm like, but why didn't you talk to me or like try to hang out with me? Like, why were you always trying to fit in with people who obviously didn't like you? And now you feel some type of way about your high school experience because you chose people who actively didn't like you and made fun of you and made you feel bad about yourself rather than you like choosing the people who actually like liked you. Like your experience, that experience was your choice, my guy. You did that to yourself. I didn't tell him he did it to himself, obviously. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like you chose people who don't like you. And so you continue to experience people who don't like you. So it's like, it's no wonder why that was your experience. So, anyway, wait, what? Your childhood. How you been reading my diary? Who's reading what diary? See, and then I love this because so the 12 into like the well-crafted illusion, the 12 into the 13 is the beginning of self-realization. And that's this energy. Like the well-crafted, it has the potential. The well-crafted illusion leads us to seeing those things about how we view ourselves. And I said it earlier, how we view ourselves, how we view the world, and how we view ourselves in the world, and how we view the world outside of ourselves or whatever. And I feel like that's another reason why the heart isn't in it. Because it's like there's something about it that's very like air and earth. It's very like almost cut and dry. It's like the experiences that we have don't speak to us or who we are as a person. It's how we conduct ourselves in those experiences, how we continue living life after they happen that speak to our character. That's where the cups are. The cups aren't in something happening because things always happen and things will continue to happen. And some things will be good, some things will be great, some things will be amazing, some things will be better than you could have ever imagined, and some things won't be so good. You know what I mean? But again, it's like it's what we do with it that determines more so what we get. And that's something that's been coming out a lot lately. Like that's where the choice lies. The choice lies in how we respond to a situation and how we move forward, not in what happens to us. Unless you like that and you get to choose what. I mean, in some ways, there are things that we can do in our own lives that make certain potentialities more possible. And then it's like, because we did this, then we experienced that. That's the consequence to your choice. But anyway, your mind galactic tone is 13. Ooh, I think no. I think Russ's is 11. Noodle soup, what? I could go for some ramen, honestly. So it's the beginning of, oh yeah, it's literally this. The beginning of self-realization, caring for one's mental space and preparing to welcome something big. Caring for one's mental space and beginning to see oneself. It's like this contextless perspective. It's a self that exists outside of comparison. And it's just like pure self. It's just like you. Like if everything in the world melted away, you would still be you. You know what I mean? Now, because the world is what the world is, and because we have the experiences that we have, there are different parts of ourselves that may be more accented, is not the word. What is that word? It's not accentuate. I think that is the word. Accentuated? That's a word, right? Accentuate? I'm pretty sure that's the word I want. Hey Siri, define accentuate. Oh, here's my phone. Hey Siri, define accentuate.
Accentuate means make more noticeable or prominent.
Yeah, it is the word I wanted. Um, the orb, cosmic red dragon. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean it only shows up once? Oof. I like this. I guess all this does fall under the cross. It's either upright or in reverse. 31. Oh, see, I love this because the first one, it's chain links. And chain links is how one thing leads to another, leads to another. It's how everything is sort of connected. And it's like the chains are linked together, but you can use it for or on whatever. It does, though, feel like it feels like in the chain links, there's a gap in at least one of them, and it's bridged by light. It's like, because you know how, like, with a chain link, the metal ones, there'll be like a solid piece of metal, but it's fused together. Like the spot where it's fused together, it's a tiny gap and it's like shining. Chain links, a divine codex, an arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds. I love that piercing the heavens and breaking the clouds energy because that's this. There's a helicopter up above. Um, it's that energy. And again, it's like that's what turns the dark night into the oxynate. It turns a dark night into a brilliant dawn. It brings light to our life in an area that there was only darkness before, in an area where we expect nothing but darkness. And because we expect nothing but darkness, we fear it. And it's like we do everything outside of those certain areas. And so it's almost like it's an area that it's very much that reanimation. It feels like an area that Virgo and Scorpio don't have access to. And because Virgo and Scorpio don't have access, I feel like you need both. Because like Virgo cleans it up and puts it together, and then Scorpio is the Sagittarian spark that gives it new life. And so like you got to clean it up and give it a spark in order for it to come back in a better condition than it was when it fell apart. You know what I mean? But again, chain links, I love the energy of chain links when we started with the cross, where that 10 of Wands energy is your 6 of Wands. It's almost like you were fated or destined to overcome something. And the only thing I don't like about the word fated and destined is that it removes choice. Like there's a choice that you can make. It's very much, it's the Four of Swords that was at the bottom of the deck. It's like you keep going through the main canal, but one time out of the corner of your eye, you spot that alternative path. Like that's the choice that you can make that gets you onto the next link and the chain of your life. The braid, that certain like braid on your tapestry. But again, it's like it feels like going back to the in between. It's like because we always hit a snag there, it's programmed in our mind as something like unattainable or something that we will never reach because of what repeat experiences do to us. And it doesn't make it true just because it's always been your experience. That's a North Node, Gemini, South Node, Sagittarius thing right there. Because it feels like South Node Sagittarius would go, like, this is all, like, evidence has shown that when this happens, the other thing must happen or whatever. So it's always that way. And that's the cardinal that, like, Gemini kind of has to, like, do it anyway, to try it anyway. It's like, yeah, but, like, maybe this time it'll be different. And Sagittarius is like, it's literally the same. And Gemini is like, no, like, let me try it though. And Sagittarius is like, I'm not going to waste my time. Sagittarius is the queen of swords, the old queen of swords. That's like, I'm not going to waste my time doing anything that I know isn't going to work. Like, evidence has shown, theory has shown, it's scientifically proven that blah, 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 whatever. And North Node Gemini is the bumblebee that flies anyway. And then a prideful, shadowy Sagittarius would see a North Node Gemini bumblebee and rationalize and reason away why they did it and it can't or whatever. But the lighter of Sagittarius will go like, oh my gosh, like Gemini, what are you doing? How are you doing that? And Gemini's like, see, like this thing changed. And I noticed like that because that changed, this happened. And because these two happens because these two things happened at the same time, it made this other thing a lot more likely. And so I was kind of hoping that it all worked out. And it did. And Sagittarius is like, oh my gosh, what? Gemini, you taught me something today. And Gemini is like, yeah, then it's some like cheesy after school special or whatever. And then you move on with your life. You know what I mean? It's like it's to teach you something in a way. I don't know. But it's like the conditions have changed enough that you're not going to get what you've always gotten. But if that's the expectation that you have, there is no heart in the situation. It's primarily, well, it's an equal balance between earth, fire, and air, but there's no water here. Like, it feels like this isn't an area where spirit has any room to intervene because it's in the space of what we allow and what we disallow. Spirit can give you opportunities all day long, but if you don't take any of them, you're going to have the same experience that you already have. So eventually, like you got to do something new, try something new if you want something different, or you don't. Oh, the bottom of the deck. So with the mice, you can't even see. It's fine. With mice, it's a purifying light, a renewed mind, and a moment of timelessness. I love that renewed mind energy. And I love the purifying light energy too. So that's this. That's this, what, 2.5 hour? It's not like almost 4 hours like Rob was, but is the crow back? I feel like we need sock puppets for this portion. I wish I had them. I wish I had them. Wait, what? What happened? A tone is the number. So there's 13 tones and 20 seals. 20 lunar seals, 13 solar tones, and um I have a little thing. Let's see. I'll pull it up real quick. I got a little cheat sheet that somebody sent me a long time ago. At this point, it feels like ages. What? I actually don't have it anymore. My phone was like filling up on space. So I like went through and deleted all my screenshots because I was like, I'm never gonna use these. And they were screenshots that I guess I took or somebody sent me. And so I don't have it anymore. But I'm pretty sure I sent it. It's fine. It's gone. There are 13 tones and 20 lunar seals, and it works through the tones and the seals. So you'll work through 13 tones before you hit all 20 seals. And so you'll start again at tone one in the middle of a seal, and so it goes and goes. You know what I mean? So anyway. Yeah, it's like super blurry now. You saw a face in Saturn Desert? Oh snap. Both Virgos got blown out. Oof. See, thank you, Virgos, for demonstrating the space that Virgo and Scorpio is in. Is Rob still here? Did Rob get blown out? Or is it just Virgo that we're not letting in? If Rob is still here, then it's reanimation. If Rob isn't here, then it's just stuck in the ground. But anyway, that was an interesting. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they were so connected because whatever. It would have been cool if they were different, but oh wow. So the birds came out, the owl birds came out again. It didn't happen to you? Okay, so we're in that reanimation energy. There's zombies out here. I'm just playing. 5:05 there. It is 7:05 here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Who is it? Who was it? Ooh. The heart in reverse? I'm actually going to keep the heart in reverse. And the bear. Ten of Pentacles. Wait. The heart. Oh, look. The heart came out in reverse. And there were no hearts. The reason why I'm keeping the heart in reverse is because it's a spade. A heart in reverse is the spade. So maybe that's why they're like, the King of Swords is so cold and the Queen of Swords is so cold. Because a spade is a heart in reverse. So with the heart in reverse and the bear coming out, the bear's oh, I'm clear again. I guess it just randomly decides when it wants to focus. This is the bear. This is a very Fimbulvinter energy. This is Fimbulvinter. It's the winter that never ended. It's night where the sun never broke. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? It's because the sun never broke. It's because a certain area or aspect of our lives never saw the light of day that we're so convinced that there is no light to be found in that space. But it's like, don't allow the lack of perceivable light in the past to plunge you into a future of unending darkness. I mean, I don't want to say don't allow it because you can do whatever you want to do, but it doesn't have to be your experience. What? Oof. The flying dog from the never ending story, directly below Saturn. I've never seen that. But is that. Oh, I can't even remember the name. That reminds me of. What was it? Llama? Or something like that? Never ending story on Stranger Things. Turn around. Look at what you see in her face. The dragon dog of your dreams. Make believe I'm everywhere, living in the light. And listed on the pages, I know I mixed it up, is the answer to a never ending story. Ah. I don't get it. Only bluebirds and cardinals here with overtone of vultures and hunted hawks and falcons. Lots of deer, but first foxes. What? I don't think I've ever seen a fox. There's Matthew. I sang and he appeared. I have learned how to summon thee. I'm kidding. How you doing, Matt? This is interesting. So, oh, there's a 77 here and a 1777 here. 1777 was the year after 1776, and 1776 is when the Declaration of Independence was signed. I remember that because in some class I watched the musical 1776 that was about 1776, the year in which the Declaration of Independence was signed. So, thanks, Matthew. You're gonna make me blush. Atreyu, I think it was Atreyu. I had a childhood friend whose name is Atreyu. He's an Aquarius. He was a very class clown. It was so weird. I did say 1776, which Nicolas Cage later stole. What? Because he was like a class clown when we were growing up, and then he became like the opposite. It's like people went from like thinking he was super funny to some people went to being like scared of him and intimidated. But I could never see him as anything but the person that I grew up with. I never saw him as anything other than the person I grew up with either. So maybe if I saw the other side of him, I would have been more convinced. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Oh yeah, I've never. Is that Lampoon's National Treasure or something? No, National Treasure was the movie. Yeah, it's an Atreyu that I know. In the Valley Girl movie. I think I wanted to see. I might actually watch National Treasure tonight. That's a movie I've always wanted to see, but I never saw it. So what's interesting about this energy? So the Two of Wands came out. Two of Clubs, excuse me. The Two of Clubs came out, embodying hope, a fount of truth, and a tongue of light. And what's interesting is a tongue of light came out as the last entry in this card, but at the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Spades, which is tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all, and things that must remain in the dark. So we have things that must remain in the dark with an energy of a tongue of light. That is like it's spelly, it's magicy, it's enchanted. Because it's almost like it reminds me of the Starman reading about like desecrated sacred symbols and how sacred symbols were used for extremely less than sacred purposes. And it's because they were used for less than sacred purposes that even their place of origin gave it up, which I just think is the whole situation is, anyway, doesn't matter. Not going there. Better nature. I gotta breathe. So, but it was an energy where it's like the energy behind the symbol doesn't go anywhere. Even if the symbol isn't there. I don't know why it reminds me of that in the Starman. But it's an energy where it's like a word spoken, but it's a fount of truth. It's a fount of truth and a tongue of light, but it somehow still it doesn't reveal something. There's something that remains hidden, even when it's spoken. What does that mean? Is this a riddle? Is anybody good with riddles? Wait, what? Oh, like you're. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's Nick Cage's knockoff Indiana Jones, baby. It's Nick Cage's Indiana Jones inspired movie. It was inspired by Indiana Jones, not an attempt to knock it off or rip it off or reproduce in any way. Does what have a number associated with it? I'm confused. Spelly magically. Oh, okay. All right. You see a water bird under Saturn. There's the energy of that water, the blue heron again. We started with the heron. Karen the heron story time. And it's not Karen Karen, it's Keron Karen. Even though, I don't know, I feel like low key in real life, all the Karens I know like are the sweetest, most. But I guess they had to have some kind of name or something. I don't know. What? I can manage my on console storage from my phone. What? That's crazy. Technology nowadays, I love it. I am all about Aquarius. Let's go. Yeah, the blue heron. Yeah, Karen the heron. Eve, you were there for that one. I remember you being there. And I think Steph might have been there. I don't remember. I don't remember. You have like 7 nice Karens who come to your lives, taking back care. Yeah, that's one. Like, it's unfortunate because all of the Karens I know in real life are like lovely, extremely. Some of my favorite people, some of them. And all of the Karens I know in my life, it's like one. I have a cousin named Karen. I don't really know her. She seems nice enough. But anyway, I don't remember what it was about though. I think actually, I think it was very similar to this. Because I think Karen the Heron, like, had not great self esteem because of the things that she went through or something like that. And so there were things that she internalized as truths about herself that weren't necessarily true. I don't remember in full what it was or is. All Karens you know are nurses, same with Linda's. So the Karen I know is a front desk clerk at Purdue. And the Linda I know, one of the Lindas, the Linda that's not my aunt, and the Karen that's not my cousin. Linda was also a front desk person, full time person, and they were both lovely. I love both of them. I remember one day Linda sent me or she showed me a picture of like a shirtless cowboy and a horse, and she was like, if you stare at this picture long enough, you'll eventually see the horse or something like that. It was so funny. She was like, or it was like, did you know that there's also a horse in this picture or something like that instead of the shirtless cowboy? I don't know. Anyway, Linda's on my carrots. Oof, oof. Well, that's fine. Not every Linda can be amazing, I guess. Oh, why did I shuffle this? The bottom of the deck again, the beginnings of self-realization, caring from one's mental space and preparation preparing to welcome something big. I don't know what that energy was. I just found it so interesting that it was like a fount of truth, a tongue of light, and then at the bottom, like tapping into the seed of all creation, a fount of truth, a tongue of light. Yeah. But like to have that things that must remain in the dark, but there is the light that's coming from the dark. That is an energy that's been around. It's been lingering. It's been looming since I got Kingdom Hearts 3, however long ago. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, look, the top of the deck. That's funny. What's at the top of the deck now was the bottom of the deck before. So we get another jewel or mud lotus jewel energy. So the bottom of the deck is the beginnings of self-realization, caring for one's mental space, and preparing to welcome something big. It's the Ace of Spades, Twitty. That was the card. The Ace of Spades, Ace of Swords, is tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all, and things that must remain in the dark. It's a 77-18. 18 is the moon, 77 is the Sage of Souls. So that's why it's an energy that's like so incredibly luminous, but invisible or not seen at the same time. It's so extremely bright, but so hard to miss. Maybe it's that chain link because it's like that. It's like where the chain is fused upon itself. That little shiny light, whatever is. And if I had a mind to, I would see what's before and after your in the runes. I'll do it. Why not? I've already been. Might as well push it to a full 3 hours, right? It's not going to take that long, but I am going to see what's before and after your, because your is that destiny point, and it feels like a your destiny point, especially the light in this chain link. A your destiny point has an opportunity to offer us a Vindhorn freedom. It can unbind us. And I'll show you the card. I guess I'll show Windhorn too, because why not? I'm looking for Yor and Vindhorn. I feel like I'd never see Yor. Actually, I'll take that back. I think somebody got Yor and the Zodiac series that I did not finish. But I feel like I never see Yor. Here it is right here. Oh, wait, I gotta do. Oh, well, oof, oof, oof. Oof, oof, oof. That makes sense. Yor is with Earth Grap. Vindhorn. Oh my gosh. Or so after Yor was Earth Grab. After Vindhorn is Earth Masion. Earth Masion and Ur. I love that. So, oh my gosh. Oh, they're opposites. So here's Yor. Yor is World Serpent. I believe it's Destiny Point in the new one. Boba. Did you say Boba? Or Baba? Wait, what? Oh, I didn't get a lemmy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You're right. You know me well. Oh my gosh. Your Karens are Vicky's? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Hold up, wait, no. I can only think of two Elizabeths right now. The closest thing I have, and I guess they wouldn't. Well, but they be Karen. I don't know. Elizabeth. No, no, because Elizabeth that I went to high school with, she was cool. And no, that's Emily. I love Emily's. I've never met an Emily I don't like. Um, the Motorhead card, yeah. In Ted Andrews' Tarot, the Blue Heron is the Hierophant. Ooh, I'm like way behind. I don't know anything. Lemmy was lead singer for Motorhead, who wrote a song called Ace of Spades. Oh, I know the song briefly because like a second and 2 milliseconds of it are sampled in a song. I think. Or they may have been sampled in a song. It's a sample of a sample that was in a song. I don't think it was the actual song. Actually, I don't think it was a sample of the song. I think it just said Ace of Spades. So, anyway. What? That's cool. I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay. So, what is that song now? It's in my head. Is it Nirvana? Bro, I don't know anything. Is that Nirvana? Is Thunderstruck? Who was that? ACDC? I don't know. I don't know. It is ACDC. Thunderstruck is ACDC. Okay. Oof. Is Thunderstruck Nirvana? Oof. It's fine. So, yours coming out in between Earth Grap and Gilton, which is interesting because this is an energy that was seen lately. So, this is your. Oh, 29, 28, 52. Love my ACDC. I obviously don't know like any ACDC, but it's fine. Oh, Thunderstruck came into my mind. Well, because somebody said Ace of Spades, and Ace of Spades got me thinking to that other song that says Ace of Spades, but it's not Ace of Spades. And then that Thunder from Thunderstruck came into my mind, and your Jormungandr was Thunderstruck by Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Okay. Anyway, I'm assuming Jormungandr was struck by Mjolnir or Thunder, Lightning. But anyway. Why is it Earthgrap? Or why is it your? Why was it your? Because it felt like that destiny point energy where we can make a choice, but it's so small. I mean, it's the space of things that must remain in the dark, so I feel like I shouldn't pry too much because that would defeat the purpose of the card. You know what I mean? It's like when you see a high priestess, you leave her alone. You don't ask what she knows, you just go home reading over. Even though I guess that's not what I did, but anyway. Um Rob. I'm not gonna do it. So, oh my gosh. Is this literally the bottom path? Is this literally that reanimation energy? Because there's an energy of shredding associated with Giltan. Shredding or shedding. It doesn't matter which. And then Earth Grab is the grave. And so it goes back to that. It's like instead of it growing in the ground, instead of it being rebirth, like it goes into the ground and it decays. Now, what came out around Vindhorn, this is why, and I think it's a little bit smaller. I drew it a little longer, but this is why it feels like Earth Grab, or it feels like Yor and Vindhorn are connected. It feels like if you can approach Yor and allow it to sort of like stretch you out in directions perpendicular to it, then it's like there's something like I feel like it goes back to that a tongue of light, but things that must remain in the dark energy. I feel like it goes back into that something that is like spoken. It's like a truth that is spoken that reveals no truth. Like it doesn't reveal the truth behind it. But that can happen in real life, right? I can talk to you, Ross. Oof. See, well, I'll sing it if you play it. Shredding. Oh, there you go. Well, Rob could be shredding the guitar. I can't shred a guitar. But that shredding energy, yes. You're going to try animating the runes movement more. Oh, see, like the thing, and I have my little book here. I actually saw East turn into Yor, turn into Windhorn, turn into Agashalmer. And it was when I think it's when Rob was going through that cycle of runes. Let's see if I can find it. I don't even use this little thing anymore. It's here. Or is it this one? Well, I think it played out in a few ways. Wait, where's the. And then it also played on this one. The the solstice rune, Sunsteady. So it's like it starts with East and then it branches out like that's Yor more traditionally, and it keeps going out. I know it's not the best. It goes out into a Vindhorn, and then at some point it goes like it develops that meridian horizontal, and then it's like it grows these rings from the inside out, and that's how it was at first. But I think it does it this way, where it starts with that ring in the middle, and then it's like it grows outward, and as that grows out, then a new ring forms in the middle. But it's like when you reach Eigeshelmer, these things on the end of it, the things on the end of Eigeshelmer, they prevent that inner ring from growing out anymore. Like it gets locked, so you can't grow, you can't expand anymore. But anyway, yeah, so that's like that's the East. into the Vindhorn, into the Eigeshomer. I don't know. Anyway, I almost did it. You almost got me. My neck hurts already. There was this one dude I worked with. He would like listen to like heavy whatever while he worked. And his head was literally banging at like 200 bangs a minute. I was like, if I try to like head bang that, like I can't. It is physically, I am physically incapable of like, I was like, oh my gosh. He was a professional. Remind you to talk to me about the Eigerchammer thing. Okay. I will try to remember long enough to tell you that. So, I did almost do the thunder that last time. I think it was the music notes that got me. I think it was all the music notes that got me. Okay. So that's this. So it's like that your see, but this is the thing because it's like that, like, oh, there's a blur. Like, this is east, right? It's like this is that axis. It's almost like the rings of Saturn. It's like if this is the pole of Saturn, then that your like it comes in. Nice try. You only got me with the music notes the first time because I wasn't expecting it. So it's like that the enter like this of your that's everything that the truth reveals but doesn't, because it's like the main meridian, like this main up and down the east, that's what we're able to understand, but there's something about it that expands in different directions, and it's like that's there's something that lies in that. I mean, when you grow it out it becomes a Vindhorn. And so under Earth Grab, where it's like the seeds just like shrivel under the ground, we have Earth Masion and Ur that came out around Vindhorn. Oops. Well, now it's in reverse, but it's like it unleashes the seed's potential. What was a grave is now the foundation for something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I got. I hope you'll have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make. I'm gonna have to pull cards for my friend again. Oof. There is something within me that wants to say thunder, but I'm like I don't know ACDC enough. I thought it was Nirvana. I feel like I've already embarrassed myself enough. I feel like I don't have the right or the privilege to go thunder. Oh, but the urge is building. It's building. I won't. I am practicing restraint right now. Ask Siri. Ask Siri what to say thunder. Hey Siri, what's that sparkly zappy stuff that falls from clouds when it rains?
Okay, I found this on the web for what's the sparkly zappy stuff that falls from clouds when it rains. Check it out.
Types of precipitation. What makes it rain? Rain, snow, oof. Channeling all the rock and roll to me. Now that other song is in my head. I don't know. It's I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oof. I've moved. You've channeled me onto a whole other vibe, Rob. Too much. Too much. So for my little friend, am I doing more runes? Yeah, I'll do runes. Oof. And look, Needle is at the top of the deck as I stop shuffling for my little friend. Needle is at the top, and Gifu is at the bottom. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I guess I'll take these. I'm actually going to keep Needle. This is interesting. So the cards almost like fell apart. 12th jumped out, and Gare was in reverse. Or not in reverse, it was face down. And it's these two. But there's something about the needle stitching and mending that fixes this. It feels like it turns it inward where they face each other, and then it sharpens them. It makes it less smooth. And last time it was wool and needle. So my little friend is slowly putting something together and mending it. Oh, it's the chain links. I feel like that's what this is. Maybe. I don't know. That's a 3 and a 10 and a 12, which is a 3. I don't know. Hey, Elaine. How are you? I can't, Twitty. I'm sorry. I could play it for you. Sanitarium? I don't even know what Sanitarium is. I know they shift and change and move a little bit. I'm so tired. I saw Bon Scott with AC/DC opening for a new band called Aerosmith. Aerosmith? I barely even know Aerosmith. I don't know. You know what? I'll pull from the deck that I wanted to use earlier. For my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. I wonder if my little friend is the guide from Pisces' one Cindy video. From Cindy's one Pisces video. It's like the big guide is coming in because the other guides just weren't doing it. So my little Orby friend who likes to blur my camera. The card that came out is the Stronghold of the Veil. So it's a messenger, which is cool, I guess. Herald of the Herald of the Darkening. Oof. But the darkening isn't like she integrated alchemy into this. So it's that stage of alchemy. I don't know which one it is. I think it's like when you get ash. So like after the fire, you get ash and then you purify it and then it's something something. The Herald of the Darkening. So the 70s isn't that long ago. Oh, that's like 50 years at this point. Sometimes I think it's still like 2000 in my brain. So what is the message? Oof, okay. Work, sis. This is interesting. Oh my gosh. What? You know what's funny about this? Is what did I say? There was something about the spaces where Virgo couldn't reach and Scorpio couldn't reach. And every time I pull a rune, it comes out with needle. New needle is mending, old needle is stitching. So it's stitching and mending. Stitching is mending. It's mending for, a cloth. But stitching can also be something new, right? When you stitch something together, it doesn't always have to be like a tear that you're mending. You could stitch things together to make a quilt or to make anything really. It's Sun in Virgo, Sun in Scorpio. More so than the Six of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. It's Sun in Virgo and Sun in Scorpio. So earlier was the energy of the spaces where like Virgo and Scorpio aren't allowed. But little friend is bringing the sun to those areas. And then the Archangel of Glory is here. Under that, which is the King of Wands energy. The King of Wands was sitting behind the Three of Swords in the Gilded Tarot Royale. It was Death, the Three of Swords, and the King of Wands. And it was the King of Wands with something else. Because that's when I was talking about ego games. And I was like, if you're going to play an ego game, like, at least be smart, or at least be wealthy, or at least be whatever you're basing your ego on, at least be proficient in it so that it's not like a losing game. Like, we're not setting ourselves up to fail ego games. It's not a ego pity party Olympics. What is it? It's not an ego trauma Olympics where like I'm more traumatized than you. That's what trauma Olympics are anyway. Yeah, I know you're talking about the. Yeah, you still think it's early 2002. I'm not the only one. Thank you. Rob! A stitch in time saves nine. Did who bring the orb? Oof. Is this the orb? Maybe not. Which archangel is that? Gabriel. Bruh, duh. You see the horn? Which archangel is that? Is Thunderstruck Nirvana? Who am I today? Mm. Oh, that makes sense. Oof, 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 oof. Rob clenches fist. Okay. There's that helicopter again. Laugh therapy. I love it. So I'm trying to not say what it is, but still say what is. Because there are levels. There are levels to everything, right? So I'm trying to give it at a lower level. It's an energy of opportunity. It's an energy of opportunity for things to transpire that would have never transpired in the past. And it plays with, or it works in conjunction with, everything that's mutable right now. It's like the earth is so mutable with Virgo that heavier spiritual concepts can take form in whatever way that resonates, in whatever way you perceive it. Because it's almost like before Earth was too rigid or it was too dense. It's like if a higher energy came, it would fall. It would almost be like corrupted by the Earth. And it's like that's that Sun in Virgo, Sun in Scorpio energy. And it feels very, speaking of ancient, it feels very we can handle the truth. Oof. I can't handle the truth. I can't handle it. Um I can't. I'll try not to, Twitty. It's that, what is it? It's an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered. I still have the deck. No, I'll put it back. It's right here. I'll just find it. It's fine. That's what this is. That's what it feels like. I don't want to say that's what it is, because it'll be whatever it is for you as it resonates for you, right? I think it's at the bottom. What is that? I know it's an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered. Because, like, going back to that earth grap, going back to the energy where it's like the soil itself could not support the seed to even give birth to life like this. But something about the earth has changed. And now it's fertile. It's fertile to energies it wasn't fertile to before. And in your own personal life, like maybe there was an idea that you had that, you were before your time, very Aquarian, but it's now your age. So all of those like ahead of their time, blah, blah, blah energies, like your time is now. So start that business, do that thing that you've always wanted to do. Here it is. Oh, two of diamonds, two of three of hearts, two of diamonds, two of hearts. A forced uprising, an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered, and it's the two of diamonds. That forced uprising is like oof energy. But well, yeah, yeah. I don't think I talked about it though. Ball whisperer, what? Are the Virgos still here? Yeah, I'm not. I can't handle the truth. Sorry. You're gonna have to get that truth from somebody else. What was it? That which must remain in the dark? An ancient word that stirs ancient things to life spoken. Aw, thank you. I got it at this spiritual shop when I was with my buddy one of the last times I was there. I got this speaking of a lotus, I rearranged my room so now I can leave it out. I got this purple lotus there too. Oh my gosh, I feel like a princess. Purple lotus, pink Saturn. Thank you. It was the last one they had too. I was like, I want a tapestry, but I don't know which one to get. And then I saw this one. And they're like, that's the last one we have, so you'd have to take it off the wall. Is that okay? I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then I got it. I can't remember if they knocked like a certain amount off of it or not, but anyway. Does it sound like thunder? It's whispered. I don't know. Thank you. And I'm wearing like this pink. What is mauve as a color? Like, I know that mauve is a color, but I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure this isn't mauve. Never wear mauve to a ball. No, there's the ball word. Never wear mauve to a ball. This Virgo has a hoard of tapestries. Oof. The Pisces, I don't know if it's the Pisces in me or whatever. The collector in me cannot have more than one tapestry because then I will never stop collecting them. It's a purpley pink. Okay. Maybe like there's a mauve in here somewhere. Um, but yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of stankness in here, maybe because of the wolf. I'll just show you the cards. Well, yeah, I will. I'll show you the cards. Oof. I'm starting to get tired now. Starting to get sleepy. An ancient word that stirs ancient things to life and me going to sleep. So that's my little orb friend who makes the camera blurry. You can see we have elks on here. We have Ken on here or Count and man on her face. So I love that it's an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered. Meanwhile, we have the Archangel of Glory with an entire trumpet. So, but the trumpet is put down. So, the trumpet is put down, and there are these like scrolls that are sealed and ready to be delivered, right? Oh, look at the zoom on my camera working. My little orb friend said, when I speak, your camera will function. And when I am present and my voice is not heard, your camera will be blurry AF. But anyway, see? Because then here's the deliverance of one of those letters right there. But what's interesting is that the Archangel of Glory is associated with the element of fire, but the message is coming through in earth. And I feel like it plays on that energy again. It's like a fount of truth, a tongue of light, but things that must remain in the dark. So it's like it's something spoken, it's something communicated, but it doesn't reveal. And so that's it has to be a lack of understanding. It has to be. I feel like that's the only way a truth can be communicated and not recognized. It's either not understood or South Node Sagittarius, we don't want to accept it. Well, South Node, that could be like South Node fixed sign. South Node Sagittarius would be more of an energy of like it's spoken, but it doesn't align with, confirm, or validate what we already believe to be true. Because Sagittarius is a very studied energy. And it's like the shadow side of academia. where the North Node Gemini would be those people. See, I don't want to step on no toes or nothing. But it's like if you keep sailing to the west, eventually you'll end up east of where you were. And they're like, no, you'll just fall off the surface of the earth. And then, somebody went and sailed and sailed and sailed. And then eventually they started where they were. But there was an energy. Did that come out? Or am I just thinking it? The sunrise into the sunset. It's like how a sunrise will turn into a sunset, and we never experience day. Because as soon as the sun rises, it's like setting. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. You caught what? 756? 756. 756. What's 756? I'm confused. I don't think I'm catching it. Fiddler on the Roof. I know that one. Tradition. 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 Da-na-na-na-na-na. My toes are freezing right now. My toes are so cold. So it's six. Oh, the time 6:56. It is 8 o'clock here. So it's 8 o'clock where I am. Elaine, sorry I'm late. Mauve is like a faded maroon. Okay, a dusty pink, faded maroon. Got you. I'm getting there. I am tired though. Never wear mauve to a ball. And the picture, it was clear. See? It ain't never got clear like that before. I zoom in and this camera act like it don't know how to zoom. Shout out to Robin Reeman Russ for the gift of the cameras and the mic that I stopped using, but I need to use. So, Anna Tefka, Tradition. What else? What else? What's that song? That's Anna Tefka. Soon I'll meet a stranger in a strange new place, searching for an old familiar face from Anna Tefka. Why did you say Fiddler on the Roof? What's Fiddler on the Roof? Because I know Reem recently did something about the return to the original soulmate or something like that. And then that ancient word that stirs ancient things to life energy mixed with Anna Tefka searching for an old familiar face. Oof. No idea. No. You're supposed to have an idea, Twitty. You can't say no idea. You can't just Anna Tefka me in this ancient things energy. Excuse me? I don't know. That is beyond the scope of A, my abilities, and B, my oh yeah, sunrise sunset. That makes sense. How did I forget sunrise sunset? My brain went right to Anna Tefka and skipped over the more immediately obvious sunrise sunset. Swiftly flow the days. Wait, it's that song. No. My brain always bleeds sunrise sunset into Anna Tefka. But I think they're different songs. So it goes sunrise, sunset, swiftly flow the days. But then my brain goes, soon I'll be a stranger in a strange new place, searching for an old familiar face from Anna Tefka. I don't know where those songs, Thunder on the Roof, Fiddler on the Thunder. That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. Just take it and leave me alone. That's all I have. That's all I have. Just take it. Take it and leave me be. All right. Say hi to wifey. I'm gonna go too. You didn't get the wrong musical, Twitty. Sunrise Sunset is Fiddler on the Roof. It is. Good night. I hope you all have the most excellent whatever, whenever. I hope you are acting in alignment, emphasis on acting and on alignment. I hope you're all acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need along your way, you find it. And if you're searching for an old familiar place, if you're searching for an old familiar face in a strange place of sunrise and sunsets, but no noons and no daytime, then may you meet someone also from Anatevka.